Welcome to the Lapin Lounge. Today's guest, Ronen Usaku. You know, I believe I haven't actually sat down to watch one of your streams in a bit. What do you normally play?
A lot of things.
Oh, so there is no normal.
I guess the most normal you're probably gonna get from me is like League of Legends, but
Oh.
but I play whatever suits my fancy at the current time.
I guess that makes sense.
So I guess like my main focus I would say is Riot games like League of Legends. I don't play Valorant, but I plan to eventually. And then like I want to play their new fighting game. I'll play some Riot Forge games, TFT, that kind of stuff. That's like I guess the main focus where I have.
Yeah.
Like,
wait, how'd you get started into playing those?
A friend of mine in high school was like, "Yo, let's play League together."
Oh.
And then I got addicted, and then I got better at the game than him.
That's always nice.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, could you turn yourself up a little bit more?
Turn myself up a little more. Yep. I just have my mic turned down like insanely low because like in my own streams I tend to like laugh loud and I tend to kind of be a little loud, so I tend to like peak my mic.
Oh yeah. So gaming mode is like always like that.
Oh yeah. No, it's literally my own mic is like on the lowest volume setting possible.
Yeah, it's interesting the differences between us because I have to do that so basically it can catch my mumbling. And so I just have to be really close to the mic, but otherwise I'm usually pretty quiet. I think most of the time if I'm not even I think if I'm not streaming, I just don't say anything. I feel like I haven't said anything for a year once.
Man, that's crazy, dude. I talk too much. I make random sounds. If there's silence, I'll just start like raptor screeching.
I could definitely see that, honestly.
It's where my brain goes to whenever there's silence and it doesn't know what to fill the void with.
Yeah. So you're afraid of the void then, huh?
Not really afraid of the void. It's just like I know the void exists and I'm just like, who cares about the void? More noise.
Yeah, you just have to put something in it because it's empty.
Yeah, and then it becomes no longer a void. It no longer becomes a void at that point.
And honestly, I do feel like, okay, that is one of the things that I had one of the hardest times getting into streaming for, is that, I mean, I think you noticed it even before everything started. I just will stop talking and start thinking.
Yes. Oh,
and
see.
A lot.
Oh, God. I do that with games. And that's one of the things I've noticed, like rewatching my VODs, is that I'll just focus and stop talking.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that's part of the reason why I make raptor screeches and stuff, just is because I know I need to fill the void, and I'm just like, I don't know what to fill it with.
It's so strange, though. I don't get the inkling to do that, and I feel like I should, because streaming should be like the whole spinning plates deal of like making sure that everybody's doing all that. But I think
not necessarily, because it's definitely different for everyone. Some people want to come see like the little quieter types of quieter, and they don't mind like the focusing and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I don't think they would really expect it from me at this point.
I don't think anyone does.
Yeah.
Or if you go into something where like you go into like me or Sprinkles, you expect a lot of noise, a lot of screaming.
Oh yeah.
Especially on Sprinkles, and she just rambles and rambles. I don't know how she does it.
I don't know how either. It's actually genuinely impressive. Like, it's
called like heavy ADHD brain.
Oh yeah, for sure. That is one thing that if I have it, it's like at 1% and it's never shown itself, because I do not have the talkative gene. My mind will race instead, and so I find myself having to play games where I get to vocalize things that are happening on the screen. I I just find it to be way easier to do that, so I can just sit there and call things out rather than like have to think. Because if I have to focus so much, I think that's why I don't play a lot of FPS and stuff. Because
it makes thinking and makes focus.
Yeah, you have to do so much in order to actually do it properly. Like the one time that I played Apex, I was having to think like, okay, what is my loot? How do I loot things? What are these guns? What is a gun anyway?
See, that's why you just got to go into the games planning to be the most chaotic gremlin you can possibly think of being, where you go in, you don't actually think, and you just run around like a chicken with your head cut off.
Oh, honestly, I think I can manage that. It's just like when I know that there's so much to the game and that there's so much that I'm not doing, it's almost like I have to dart my eyes around the screen to find everything, like all the UI stuff on the side. I have to go see if like, oh man, there's an enemy like way off in the distance. I should be pointing in this direction. Oh wait, I have to be moving while looting. I have to do. It's like there's so much to do that I can't think of one thing to talk about. So I just shut down.
Yeah, that's also where like experience with the game comes as well.
Yeah.
Because like once you have a certain like expertise at the game, you can kind of just like go in and do whatever you want and still like play the game to a decent level, but still be able to talk about stuff.
Wait, so you're saying that you actually have an interesting League stream?
I have an interesting League stream.
Like, is that possible?
I mean, it is entirely possible. See, like, because there's certain games where I go in, I pick the stupidest character I can possibly do, and I just run around screeching.
Yeah, honestly, I think if you're not taking the game super serious, I think that's probably the best way to play games like that.
Yeah.
Like, the only comparable thing that I've had to that, like that's even in the genre at all, is Smite, and I would just run around an arena, and you know, I would use like the collab skins and stuff, and just like
not
fight stuff. Like that was way more fun than trying to sweat on Juggernaut or whatever else.
Oh yeah. You know, see, because that's one of the things. That's one of the things, though. You got to have like a full party to go and do kind of stuff where you just mess around a lot. Otherwise, if you don't know what you're doing and you play troll characters, that's when you get like reported and shoved up. See, where if you're playing with friends and you go in and you know all pick stupid characters and no one gets reported because you're all playing stupid.
Yep.
that's where it gets fun. That's where it gets fun. But that's also kind of where the expertise comes in, I guess, because it's like if you know how to play the game, you can play stupid things off roll and like do stupid things but still make it work.
For sure. I think it was kind of like that with fighting games and me as well.
Oh yeah.
If you know like the basics of anything, you can play just about any
pretty
character.
Much do anything.
Yeah. And not really have to it's almost better in some cases if you're just like picking random against people.
Oh yeah.
Because that way you're not stuck with your main and having to like do all
try
this
hard
stuff
and do the stuff. See, like I whenever I play Smash Bros at this point, I literally just hit the random button every time for my character.
Smash is a great one for that, especially since there's way too many characters. Like, and you know, we know about the volume of Fire Emblem characters and all that stuff, but it's like I can't. But at the same time, I'm happy because that's the only way that I've ever experienced Fire Emblem. So
same.
I'm not. I like strategy games, but I think I'm not patient enough for them anymore. I wish I had taken advantage of whatever time in my life where I would have had enough time,
like where you had like the brain power and the focus to like do it.
Yeah, I can do JRPGs, but something about strategy is still like it's so specific. Do you remember that Chaos Wars game? Or the one with really, really bad voice acting?
No, I don't.
Well, okay. I can probably send a clip. I don't know about playing it, but there is a game with such bad voice acting that it's so hilarious. And I wanted to play it on stream, but the big problem that I ran into was the fact that it's a strategy game. And once I had to actually play it, it was like, oh no,
oh no,
I have to actually commit here. Hold on. Like, it's a shame too, because I wanted to get to some of the worst scenes that were involved, but it's literally one of the textbook examples of just like early 2000s JRPG bad voice acting, where it sounds like they got everybody from The Office to do it.
Oh, that's brutal.
It's super bad.
Oh, that's brutal.
And I wanted to see it so badly, but the gameplay just like completely reversed me.
Dude, I don't think I'd be able to sit through a game like this. I don't think, like...
It's so funny, though. It's like almost worth it. I don't know.
Like, I could...
What
like,
is your opinion on bad media? Because I think if you're watching something bad and it's funny, then it's even better.
I mean, if it's bad and funny, that does make it good. There's the bad funny and there's the bad. So for looking at what Chaos Wars is, I feel like I could sit and watch someone play through it,
yeah.
but I could not sit through it myself.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I ran into. It's like I would have to do so much and work so hard to get to all of these scenes. It's almost better to just play the video at that point.
Yeah, so I mean, even at that point, I'm like, I don't, even if it wasn't the gameplay, because I just heard like some of the voice acting there.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I'd personally be able to sit through that and like listen to them talk like that. For me,
yeah,
because it makes my brain go.
Yeah, it's funny, but it's like, ooh.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be able to sit through it, but it's definitely funny. But it's
I think it also breaks the regular loop of like, all right, I got through all this gameplay. It's time to see some of the story. But if you're actually trying to take any bit of the story seriously and they're talking like that,
it's ruined by that. It's ruined completely.
It's over.
Like, does he even have a good story?
I have no idea. Like, I couldn't get like the intro. The other problem is I don't know how much of it flits between bad, boring, and funny, bad. So it's like all of these categories. I would have to sit through the gameplay being kind of dull, and then just it was too much for me.
That's fair. That is entirely fair.
You need a snappier meme game, like Heavy Rain,
snappier meme game,
or just like any of those Quantic Dream games. I feel like they go into like the snappy territory because you're just doing like a watch along at that point.
Yeah. Like just a visual novel game at that point.
Yeah. Like a bad visual novel would be a lot more accessible, I think.
100%. It's 100% more accessible at that point.
Lord knows there's more. There's many of those out there. Like unvoiced, ready to be dubbed over.
Man, that could turn out so well or so terribly,
or so
depending
bad.
on who does it.
Depending on who, definitely.
Just depending on who.
Have you ever done anything like that though?
Like what like visual novel type stuff, or like I haven't personally done visual novels, but I've watched YouTubers who've done visual novels.
Yeah.
Because I'm not even technically a year into streaming.
Really?
Yeah, my anniversary actually comes up in just over a month.
Oh, cool. So, wait, what day?
The 14th of December.
Oh.
It's not too far off, but like...
I mean, how have you found it so far? It's been almost a year. Having fun?
I mean, it's been a lot of fun. It's, streaming was also kind of like a partial excuse for me to play games that I've wanted to play.
Yeah, I definitely relate to that.
Yeah, because I'll just like sit here and play some games, and then I'll just not kind of do them. Like one of the first games, like I like full games, like full series games I played through the God of War. It's not the most recent game,
original.
But the second most recent. No, the second most recent game where he's like fighting the Greek gods.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have actually not. I've watched somebody play through the first reboot, where Kratos has like a beard and stuff and an axe. I have not
Yeah.
seen the second one yet, though. I kind of still want to play.
I was gonna say I've watched both, but I definitely wanted to play through them myself because the combat looked fun.
Yeah, the combat does look really fun, honestly.
It was a lot. It was a lot of fun to combat, although it took a second to get used to.
Yeah.
It definitely was a lot of fun. I still need to play the second one though.
Wait, do you have any interest in the originals or no?
I've honestly seen next to nothing of the originals, so I am not sure.
Yeah, actually, that's kind of it for me too. I watched somebody play through God of War 1, and it was something. It was an older game, that's for sure.
It was definitely an older
game. A lot more
game.
arcadey with the gameplay style, I would say.
Yeah, like I saw, I think, one clip of something from it that I don't even remember what the scene was entirely.
Yeah,
but I do like how how the God of War games are like recalling memories and stuff of Kratos' time from back in those games.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like their decision to kind of 180 him from that behavior was definitely a risk, because usually what they'll end up doing in series like that is saying, we're bored with our main character, we're going to replace him with a younger, newer version that you don't like.
Yeah. But it's like at this point you can't really replace Kratos.
There's
like,
no way.
So cemented in there.
They couldn't have done it. I mean, I also thought that with Dante, but they kind of like didn't. They did and they didn't with Nero, I guess.
Yeah.
Because they then had him play the exact same stages in Devil May Cry 4. That was an interesting choice. We just fold the game on itself and call it content.
But yeah, I'm looking like back at like all the different playlists I have on my YouTube channel, since I like post all my VODs there and stuff. And it's like I definitely have like a more focus towards like skill-based games, I guess I'd have to say.
Yeah.
Where it's like where once you like learn the mechanics and you get really good at it, you actually get like crazy good at it.
Yeah, that is a whole lot of fun. I felt that with Devil May Cry for sure. Like I've only played 4 and 5 at this point, and I still need to play some of the older ones, but I want to get into those more, because it definitely feels good coming up against like a wave of enemies that
and then you wipe them completely.
Yeah, just doing like a combo video at them. It's
like
super fun.
Yeah, because like some of the main games that I've like played on my channel are like League of Legends. I played some Hi-Fi Rush, and I played like on a harder difficulty on my first playthrough. I played Celeste.
I've got to play that. I think I bought it during like the hype, and then I just forgot to play.
Hi-Fi Rush was so much fun. I'd recommend you play that so much. It's a lot of fun. The characters are all so well made. The animation is clean. The art style's fun.
Yeah, that was one that I actually made sure not to watch people play too much of, because I wanted to see how everything was going to go. Like there are some games. I actually
cried towards the end.
Oh wow! Yeah, I'm glad that it was that good for sure, because I didn't know what to expect, except I just saw this bright, cool looking game come out of nowhere.
Yeah, it really came out of nowhere.
Honestly,
it deserves all the hype it got and more.
It's great. I love when stuff like that happens, because I mean, if you want to really go kind of back into some of the games that went super crazy, I know at this point maybe they'll elicit one feeling or another, but I still find it amazing to look at Undertale and how that was just like an explosion from nowhere.
It was massive. It was crazy.
Like completely massive. And Five Nights at Freddy's is...
Yeah, that... Oh my God.
It was a game that was not funded on Kickstarter. There were $0. That is crazy. And then now it is a multi-million-dollar franchise practically with a movie.
Yeah, dude, that's honestly insane to me. Like like it was definitely a good game. Like I actually recently I had never played any of the Five Nights at Freddy's games before, but I watched Markiplier play through all of them.
Yep, same here.
At the time, I was really into Markiplier.
Yep, same here.
And like I actually just this last month, because spooky month and stuff, I went and played through the first Five Nights at Freddy's game.
Wow.
It was a lot of fun, but it was also a lot easier than I remember watching it be on Mark's stream.
Oh yeah. Wait, did you do all the like 20 stuff? Or?
No.
Yeah.
I didn't do the 2020. I beat night 5. That's as far as I got on the stream.
Yeah.
The stream was only 2 hours long. It was a short night for me. I honestly didn't expect to beat the game that fast.
Yeah. I would say probably most people don't, because you look at that struggle, but then you also recognize that was one recording session stretched over several videos. So sometimes these games will seem a little bit longer because you're watching them for longer, but
yeah,
it's usually not that long. That was back in like the 15-minute video meta
length times. Yeah,
I don't even know what it is now.
And see, while I think it might be fun to go and do like the 2020 stuff, I don't think I would unless they like remade it with a couple more like option settings and stuff. I think it's kind of frustrating, honestly. Like the difficulty isn't fun difficulty. It's like it makes it so specific that if you mess up even a tiny bit, you just have to do it all over again. And I don't really find that to be fun. See, but I like the challenge. I love difficult games. Yeah. Like I like a couple followers. I have the follower goal where I'm going to be playing Getting Over It. I'm actually excited to do that because I've been wanting to play that and I want to see how difficult it is. You know what? I will admit something. I didn't get Jump King until I played it. I didn't understand what was the hype fun about it of like, until actually playing it. To play. Yeah, it's a fun one. I don't think I ever finished it still, but once I was able to memorize like all those areas of jumps and things, I totally understood why people would sit there and try and climb with all of that, because it's just like again. It was satisfying to overcome all those challenges and stuff. Yeah, no, it really is satisfying to like overcome the challenges and get all that kind of stuff. It's honestly like super cool. Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I like difficult games. That's part of like the satisfaction that I get from League of Legends, because like I used to play on a college team. Oh, and so like and so before I was on the college team, I was like high silver. And like I'd gotten like, and so the game was still, pretty hard for me. I still didn't know a ton of the stuff about the game. But like through like the 2 years I was part of the college team, I exploded in like what I could do. Yeah. And I went from silver, I got all the way up through gold. And I was, by the time I was at the end of the 2 years that I had played with them, I was platinum 1, which is like, at the time I was about in the top 6% of North America. Wow. And, yeah. That's. And so, yeah. Wait, who are you playing? What? Oh, in League? Yeah. What characters? I'm a support main. So I played a lot of things. I would go from anything between engaged supports to enchanter supports, usually with the preference towards being like enchanter supports. But as my Discord profile for at least the DMs might show, my favorite character is Rakan. He is a enchanter engage support, which is a very like not normal thing. Yeah, I was gonna say niche probably. It's so while it's like he's not actually like necessarily a niche character though, because he's probably one of the most prominent characters in professional play right now. Oh, I was gonna say niche character type. Years. Oh, but he's definitely a niche character type. Yeah. But while he's a niche character type, he doesn't have his niche moments. He is applicable in like almost any game you play. Oh. Nice. Yeah. Because he can be like either like a hard engage character, or he can be a really good peel character because he's got heals, he's got shields, he's got CC, he's got the only thing if you build him, he can be tanky or he can be squishy. Just it's a lot of situations that you can do whatever in. Interesting. So he's also there's basically like a. So I will be real with you. I understood at least 60% of that. Yeah. I can explain a little. I can explain it a little better. Basically, just from what I know of having played Smite a little bit and having that explained to me, I understood
more of that than I thought. So my question from that would be like, is he a character that's able to be played basically at any lane?
No.
No.
So while he sticks in the support, like his primary role and main role is support. While you can play him in other lanes, that is the type of thing where I was like talking about picking a stupid champion and going and doing something. Like I've played him top lane, I've played him mid lane, but you do abnormal builds that don't normally work, but catch people off guard enough that it does work.
Okay. Honestly, that sounds like some dumb stuff that I would have fun with in a game like that for sure.
But yeah, but what I was kind of saying was like he can fit into any of the support roles that you need to fit. He could because the supports are like categorized into a couple different things. Like there is the engage supports, who are the ones who usually start like the engaging for fighting,
right?
Where they're like the go button, where you send it in like that. Or he can be a peel champion, where he basically you're trying to keep the enemies off of your carries. So he sits back, he uses his abilities to defend rather than engage. And then there's also like the enchanter role, where he kind of like where you buff your ally champions, or you shield and heal them. Because he has one ability which if he hits an enemy with it, he will heal him and any ally near him. After a like delayed period of time. And then he has an ability which dashes himself to an ally, which then shields the ally, as well as it can be recasted to dash to another ally and shield them again. So it gives
twice
them, like,
in one little
shields.
rotation?
Yeah, twice in one before like a cooldown goes on to it. Yep.
Wait, does the game have global cooldowns? Like an MMO or anything?
Oh, what do you mean by global cooldowns?
Oh, global cooldown. Wait, do you play Final Fantasy 14?
No, I tried and I didn't like it.
Okay, that's perfectly fair, because I also tried and I also didn't like it. But and global cooldowns were one of the reasons why, because I was not used to that. Every single time that you used an ability, it would cool down all of the abilities, and I was like, "Well, then how is this fun?" Like, that's why every character felt really awkward to me, and especially starting out when you don't have very many abilities, when you have to pick so specifically and then everything cools down, I could not get used to that.
No. So what League has is it has 4 primary abilities, which each have their own individual cooldowns.
Yeah, good.
Some abilities have recasts that you can do before the ability goes on cooldown, which is what Rakan's ability, shield ability, does. Yeah.
Do you have to pick a specific item for it to do that, or does it just naturally do that?
That just naturally does that.
Okay.
The items themselves don't usually augment people's abilities in League. The items more augment their stats and potentially give extra effects to what they can do.
Okay. Yeah, I did feel like, I guess the only other MOBA type-ish game that I play is Omega Strikers. So that was the lens I was viewing that from, because some of those will just like, oh, you can suddenly do this ability twice, and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. The only thing that's even similar to global cooldowns, I guess, in League is the fact that the abilities each have their own animations.
Yeah.
Which usually you have to let the depending for the ability, you have to let the animation play through before you can use another ability.
Okay. Yeah.
That way you can't just like spam all your abilities in 1 single second and do a million bursts. There's the animation.
That would be fun, but
there are definitely champions which have ways to cancel the animations to do faster bursts, but those are that's high mechanical stuff that you have to learn by playing the game.
Yeah, I kind of like that sort of thing though. Whenever there's a way to just maximize stuff like that.
Oh yeah, there's certain champions in League that do that, and I hate some of them because they're way too strong.
Yeah.
For certain levels of play.
Although I was about to say a double dash that casts shields on 2 enemies. That sounds pretty good.
Well, yeah, oh yeah, it's definitely good. But the thing is, the shields aren't like insanely large.
Oh, okay.
Which is what balances it out. So it's that ability specifically is mostly used for mobility purposes for Rakan himself.
Oh. Yeah, that's probably good.
Because it allows him to like follow allies in or escape sticky situations, which makes him probably the slipperiest support in the game, which is another one of the reasons why he's loved. Which is another reason why he's really good in pro play.
Yeah, if nobody can hit him, then he's always got better HP.
Because you go in, you dash, you use your ability, which dashes you in and knocks up the opponents, and then you use your shield ability to dash out. Enemies deal no damage to you. They take about around usually at least a quarter of their health if your lane partner actually does something. and it's basically like impossible to retake.
Huh. Well, I guess if I ever play that game, then I will now at least know one character and how they work. I mean,
if you want to learn how to play, I've been talking about wanting to do like coaching streams where I teach people how to play.
Now you got to teach me how to play Smite.
I don't know how to play Smite.
Okay, well then, I'm not interested.
The only MOBA I play is League of Legends.
Yeah, okay. Honestly, though, the basics of I'm pretty sure the basics carry over in some games for sure.
100%.
You know that after League got super popular, they were like, "What if we did League in 3D?"
Yeah, I mean, my main thing on the reason why I play League over other MOBAs is I love the visuals. Like the visuals of the other MOBAs never really like struck for me, and that's kind of like a big thing with me. Like, I have to like a game's visuals to like usually like a game. Like I like pixel art. I like high good graphics. There's a variety of styles I do like, but if the game's like style doesn't like hit me and I don't like the style, then I usually won't like the game.
Yeah, I feel like that specifically with, I guess, another game that's been going around for, I don't know, 30 years is World of Warcraft.
Yeah, and I never got into that one.
The major reason why I couldn't ever do it is because they just always looked so ugly. Like there were so many free games that looked better than that to me, or had like a better art style. And so I just kept thinking, like, why are people paying $15 a month to play that ugly looking thing? Is it just because everyone's there?
That's one of the things that like turns me off of MMOs is like you gotta pay monthly fees to keep playing.
Yeah, for the good ones anyway.
Yeah, and then it's just like, it's like the problem with that is like, what if there's like a couple months where there's like a month that I pay, and then all of a sudden I have stuff come up and I can't play, and now I'm paying $15 a month for a game that I can't play.
I'll be real with you. The first MMO, like paid MMO, to start doing weekend passes, I feel like they're gonna make bank, because that's the only time I can play anyway. Or that's the only time I'd really want to just sit there and play a bunch is on a weekend.
Yeah.
So it's like if you start selling $3 for like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday pass, that would be amazing. I would probably buy that, every weekend if I wanted to play Final Fantasy 14 or something like that. But I don't want to pay $15 a month for a month that I'm not going to commit to, because I'm only going to be playing on weekends.
Yeah, my one of my biggest things, the reasons why. So I've played a couple. I've played like, I guess, 2 MMOs. Like Final Fantasy was one that I did play a little bit, but I just couldn't get into.
Yeah.
I played a couple hours and I'm just like, this is boring. There's one MMO that I've played to at the time was Completion, which in recent years it's gotten a lot more content. But was Wizard 101.
Oh. I've definitely heard a lot of things about that game.
Yeah, so my friend, who's my current roommate, he really wanted us to play the game, even though I was just like, but it doesn't look that. I was like, it doesn't look that fun.
Yeah.
But so he ended up paying like half the time for the the pass for me, because he's like his only requirement was, I play the game.
Yeah. Honestly, that's a good one. That's a good compromise.
Yeah, so me, him, and like one other person, we kind of like went through and played through like the entirety of the game up to like level 120.
Wow.
And like I've tried to like play. My thing is, I don't think I could ever replay the game. Like I've tried to restart with different characters that I've with them before, but I'm just like it's too boring.
Yeah.
I've done this before. I can't replay the story over again.
Yeah.
It's because it's like, but the thing is though, like obviously they've added more content, which we'll have to eventually go play. And with the new content they added, they nerfed my character because I played an ice wizard, and there was and so we had when we decided on our characters, we made a pretty balanced team. We chose the highest DPS character, we chose the tank, and we chose the healer characters. So that was our 3 out of 4 person party that we chose.
Yeah,
and
balanced.
And yeah, and so it's balanced because there's this one spell that because I was playing the tank. There's one spell that the ice wizard gets, and it was called Mega Taunt.
Oh.
It was
Wait, why would they give that to an ice mage? What?
It's so because all the fights have you can get up to 4 people in there, and it's literally just an aggro puller. It just pulls the aggro of all the enemy. Which is, what the tanks are supposed to do. They're supposed to pull aggro.
Oh, Ice Mage is tank. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I missed that detail because I was just thinking, like, wait, what? Huh?
Yeah. So,
but they're all wizards, so there would have to be designations between them.
Yeah. So the damage wizard's the storm wizard, and the healer's the life wizard.
Okay.
So as the tank, the ice wizard, there's a spell they have called Mega Taunt. And it's the aggro puller spell. It basically pulls the aggro of every enemy in the fight all at once.
Wow.
And so the way the spell used to work was it used up. So how the quote unquote mana in that game works is every turn you gain either a pip or a power pip. Pip is 1, a power pip is 2. And the Mega Taunt uses every pip you currently have to generate increasingly high amounts of aggro pull.
Whoa.
And so I had equipment that gave me nearly full pips at like the start of a fight. And so what would happen was at the start of the fight, I would use a Mega Taunt, and I would take the aggro of literally every single enemy.
Nice.
and the thing is though, because there's obviously things that pull aggro of enemies. There's healing that pulls aggro of enemies. There's damage that pulls aggro of enemies, and there's the taunt that pulls aggros of enemies. So since I had like such a high amount of aggro pull at the beginning of the match, unless my friend who was the damage did about 10k damage, which usually would kill any non-boss monster, it wouldn't pull the aggro away from me.
That's honestly super useful.
Or say like the healer did like a 6k heal on everyone per person. Like it wouldn't pull the aggro away from me.
Wow.
It was super nice. It was super good. It made me able to do my job easily.
Yeah, that's super solid. Why would they?
And then they changed how the spell works. No, they didn't. So they made it so it had a set limit of pips. So it didn't generate as much aggro as I could pull possible. It instead decided that you can only pull this set amount of aggro. And so the storm wizard doing, say like 4k to everyone on the map will pull the aggro instead of doing 10k per person. And so I'm just like, ooh, I'm going to die. Yeah. He's gonna die, because if he dies, I don't have any attack spells in my deck.
Yeah. And then
like
I mean, you can sit there and like tank stuff, but if you can't kill it, they're gonna kill you.
Yeah. And so, and the worst part was like our healer wasn't necessarily a good healer. He wasn't very good at his job.
Oops.
so it made my tanking job a little harder.
Yeah, man,
but
that seems like such a weird tweak to do. Like I could understand if it was maybe a more complex game to try and do some sort of limit like that, but that's a PvE nerf in like that's a weird thing to do.
And so it's just like, but now I can't laugh at the enemies and make it so that they just can't do anything but attack me now. And it made my role a lot harder, because not only was I the tank, I also, because obviously enemies have AoE spells and all that kind of stuff, I was also additional setup for our damage dealer. I had trap spells, which caused like his spells to do like 70% more damage to one person.
Oh, nice.
Along, whereas the downfall of that spell, like putting traps on that person, is it puts a 30% damage increased like trap on myself as well.
Oh.
So obviously I'd take more damage from one hit, where they'd take I'd only take 30% damage more from one hit, where they'd take 70% damage more from one hit.
But see, it wouldn't matter if you pulled everybody and they all died at once.
Yeah, exactly. That's
yeah, because
and then I also had like other traps, like elemental traps, which do more damage for like 20% more damage for like each element and all that kind of stuff. But it's like the sheer fact that I can't like maintain aggro, and then so like the fact, and like I have to watch out and now shield, do a ton of shielding as well.
Yeah.
Just to prevent my allies from dying, because they're not as tanky. Because as a tank, I'm super tanky. I have like 70% resistances to like every element, where they have maybe like 30% resistance at most to like one of the resist, and then like 20% in the rest of them. It's like the ice wizard's just like super tanky, low damage, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They just nerfed the biggest like asset to the ice wizards that they had, in my opinion.
See, I could see them doing that if is there a sub tank kind of class in that?
So it's not really like a sub tank, but it's like there's like a class called the balance class, where they're just like they just can hit with every element, like at a certain, like not insanely strong, but they hit with every element at once. Where they can also like, and they also have like these balance traps, which it'll just increase damage to one target, like that kind of stuff. It's not really like a sub tank, but it's also just like the second tankiest class in the game.
It just sort of helps to have them there. So I could understand if there was a sub tank that they were trying to promote by doing that, like having them also have some sort of aggro pulling thing. But then I don't know.
It's just not.
If that's not the case, then that's a really strange.
It's the hard nerf the tank class, and that makes me sad.
Yeah, because I think back to I used to play Terra online, and
I played that for a little.
Well, that game had a bunch of. It had essentially two. No, by the end of it, I think it had 3 tanks. Because they added like Brawler, and it had a thing that generated aggro, but it wasn't like full tanking tools. It was definitely sub tanky, but they had the Lancers,
bruiser type stuff.
Yeah, bruisers type, and then they had the Warriors, which could switch between attacker and defender, and defending Warriors were actually pretty good, but Lancers were like the top of everything. So there were times in which they would sort of try and knock them down so that people could use
other classes.
Yeah. Oh wait, no, they also added, I think, Berserkers could tank by the end of it too. Like they gave them an extra mode for being able to do that, but it was still a little bit more sub tanky. They had a shout, but it wasn't like as direct as having the leash and the multi-leash and the shout, which is what the Berserkers had. It's like we gave you like 3 things, and every single one of your moves generates aggro as well. So they really, really wanted Lancers to be there, but they wanted the sub-tanks to also be pretty competent. So that works for multi-class ones, but I don't feel like they really would have had a need to just nerf it like that.
Yeah, I can understand like not making it like I think they made it like 6 pips.
Yeah.
Instead of like I think the maximum I could have was like 12 pips.
Well,
and so it's like they basically like so they basically
kinda,
like nerfed half.
Okay, I kind of get it, but if it wasn't half, maybe like down to 10.
If it was higher, like if it definitely generated like more aggro, because the problem is it just feels like it doesn't generate enough aggro.
Yeah,
and that I have to constantly like I have to constantly be like reusing it over and over again.
Yeah.
Because the problem is it's like that uses like all my pips up every couple turns, like using up like 6 pips.
Yeah.
Because generating at like 6 pips for the spells comes out to be like 3 turns. Usually,
that just would make it take so much longer.
Yeah, because usually, like I said, there's the normal pips and the golden pips. Because at the point in the game we were at, you could usually generate a golden pip every turn, and if you were unlucky, you gained a normal pip.
Oh.
So it takes 3 turns to generate up to 6. That's up to 6 pips, and so it's like after 3 turns, that's 3 turns of the enemies doing damage to me initially, and then also dealing damage to all of the teammates. So then the healer has to heal us up, which then the healer generates aggro, and then they have already taken up all the aggro.
Yeah, I feel like it almost seems like if they were going to try and just change the economy of the spell in general, lowering it to 6 but making it do the same thing would have just been so much better. Like actually still able to generate way more, but not having to do it at 12. I could understand if it was that.
Because like if they gave it more aggro and with lowering the pips, and it would, I think it would have been like, even if it was just a little bit more aggro, like if it could last longer, because I just need pips to do setup and to do all this other kind of stuff and shield.
And if you have to do that spell, you almost just have to only focus on that.
Yeah, and which at that point we're just like, hopefully my resistances can hold us out long enough so that our healer doesn't actually have to heal us.
Yeah.
Because with like perfect setup for with our basic perfect setup, we could one shot most enemies in the game.
On that note, though, I'm actually kind of curious. What is your buff and nerf philosophy? Do you like a game that only buffs, like tries to buff everyone, or tries to keep things more balanced?
So balancing issues is a hot topic in League of Legends.
For sure, I'm imagining. Would you say that you're even playing the same character that you started out playing?
Okay, so
has it changed that much?
No, it hasn't necessarily changed that much, because they've at least for League, we've gone through a lot of balance changes. We've gone through changes that have that buffs everyone, which nerfs like a certain subclass of character. Because 2 years ago, they did something called the durability patch, where they made every champion tankier.
Oh, that's an interesting choice.
Yeah, well, it wasn't like an insanely high amount of stuff. Like they like the basis of it was they gave each champion like a couple hundred more health.
Oh.
Which I mean, like obviously, like at the end of it, like most of the time, like most characters like have only like 2,000 to 3,000 health, unless they're like a tank or something. So it's not insane. It's not like an insane buff.
It's a tweak at most.
Part of that was to nerf assassins.
Oh.
Because assassins in general were too strong.
So they could one-shot people, or like two-shot people.
Yeah. There was too many assassins just like straight up one-shotting people.
Ooh, yeah. And
so the durability patch was kind of like to try and balance them out a little bit, because it's like balancing their items in the game was also a nightmare. Because you nerf an item here or you buff an item there, and it makes it either super broken or it makes it super not and like impossible to use anymore.
Yeah, that is a real issue with some of the item spread stuff, because I feel like when you have a case where it's like, oh, just use these items, oh, just use these items, and it's like, wait, well, then why do these other ones exist?
Yeah,
But,
so it's like I like the game to in general like still like properly like buff and nerf characters, try and keep the balance as best as they can.
mm-hmm.
Obviously it's not the easiest thing.
It's really hard. It's so hard. Because you're gonna get people who also have different perspectives of like, I've been playing this character forever. But because I play them and I feel weaknesses, that means I think they should be buffed. But then you're gonna find somebody else who's like, I'm so sick of getting one-shotted by this character. Please do something.
And that's also that's also like the skill-based balancing as well, because you have to try and balance the game around, because say like League has a professional scene and a non-professional scene. There are champions where in professional play, if you let them stay at their state, like where people like they're still like decent in solo queue with like normal non-pro play, they will be oppressive, destructive, downright impossible to play against in pro play.
Yeah.
And so it's like that's also like the kind of thing, like how do you balance it so like the skill level of like the top of the top doesn't like, and like the bottom of the bottom can like still play and the characters not be, you know, super OP in one spot.
Yeah. Oh, that harkens back to so many fighting games that I've played, because it's
really hard.
Yeah. There will be somebody who's like, this character is terrible. It's so bad. And then the pro player that can absolutely destroy everyone with them is still destroying everyone, but then the new players are complaining, so that person's getting buffed because the new players can't figure out how to play him.
Now the pro players have too much, the pro players just abuse them even more.
Yeah. It's actually I was so lucky to have picked a character in Soul Calibur 6 who got that kind of treatment, because they kept buffing her like constantly, and it was so funny to me, because there would always be people complaining that they couldn't fight her, but on paper, like it was an interesting case, because there were so many other characters in that game that could handle her really well, but nobody knew how to do that.
Yeah.
So
it's the whole skill based debacle where you gotta, it's so rough.
Matchups and skills, it's a whole lot of things, because every single time there's gonna be some character that just absolutely freely destroys another one.
Oh yeah.
Like through types or anything like that. It's like you run into this character, you're going to die.
Oh yeah. And then like for League, there's a couple characters like that, obviously, but at the same point, like if you're skilled enough, you can outplay almost any character in the game.
Yeah.
There's this one character currently in there, and his name is Cassante. He was released last year around this time. He is a balancing nightmare right now.
Oh no.
They literally so he was super strong in pro play, but he was like decent in like he was only like mid to decent in like in normal play, so they gave him like a small buff, and then he became downright oppressive. Then so they nerfed him back down. They changed some numbers around to try and see if they could like get it balanced and stuff. That didn't work. He was still like then he became super oppressive everywhere.
Yeah.
And then they nerfed him, and then he was kind of gone for a little bit, but then he came back after they buffed him again because no one was playing him.
That's so funny to me, because like, how many characters are there even at this point? Clearly over 100.
150 some, I believe.
Yeah, no, that's
something. 150 something.
That is insane.
Yeah, and I know what 99% of them do. That's also one of the things about like games like League. You have to know what all the characters do.
Yeah, that's kind of funny though. Like, I feel like it's definitely interesting seeing a game get to that point, especially when you start out when there's like how many characters were there at the start? Like 50?
There was 30 to 40.
30 to 40. Wow. That's so many.
They've gained in the 13, 14 years the game has been live.
Yeah.
And that's what it's about at now.
That's so much.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
That's so much. But if you're learning them, a few at a time as they're coming in, then sure, that's doable. But if you're coming in late,
it's
like, oh my goodness.
That's why I like that's why I like to go and that's like where you have to teach people like what archetypes are and which champions go into which archetypes before you teach them what they do.
Yeah, you gotta get the groupings of everything. I mean, obviously there's gonna be basics to learn for everything too.
Mm-hmm. And then the other part about it is you don't necessarily have to learn what every champion directly does before you go in. Because obviously you'll learn as you play, but you also have to get to learn. You mainly want to learn what enemies you'll be going up against directly. If you get what I mean. Like having somebody explain directly what the opponent does, or a way to get around them. I feel like that eventually, if they have not deleted certain characters from the game entirely by balancing, eventually you're going to be able to get kind of the specifics of what everyone does, especially if you frame it through the lens of just archetypes and things like that, and play hours upon hours of what I like. I do.
That for sure.
I if I'm not mistaken, I have over 6,000 hours in League. So.
Yeah, I think there's only a few games where I've been able to get to the point where I know every character, but it's only PvE type games. So it's Arknights is one where there's over 150. I think there's maybe over 200 characters at this point, maybe even more. And I have played every single one of them in a stage. And I make it a point every single time some character comes out to try them.
Go learn them.
It's just fun. I feel like it's way more interesting to see those little nuances of how they've managed to make a different character, even if it's not that different. It's like they all have a different second skill or something like that.
There's always the slight differences here and there between characters.
Yeah.
Although obviously there's gonna be characters with overlap and man, I've seen so much discourse over overlap in the League community abilities, and I'm just like they're not the same though. Yeah, they do something similar, but they're not the same.
You just pick your nuance at that point. If you want to have something done a certain way or do it a different way, there's not really an override per se. And honestly, emotion can come into that. It's like if you genuinely just like a character's look more, go with them.
See, that's the biggest nuanced character differences kind of thing that in League at least now that exists now. It's a character called Seraphine. I don't know if you know anything about her or anything.
I don't know anything, no.
Yeah. So here I'm actually gonna pull up some images because that'll actually help with the nuances
here in a
second. Because dear Lord, okay, here we go. Okay, so this character right here, her name is Seraphine, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
so she was character. Yeah, so she was released within the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
She has a Q that does damage, which is her first ability does damage. Her second ability, CCs an enemy.
Mm-hmm.
Her third ability does an AoE heal, or slash shield, and her ultimate fires out a rectangular projectile in a straight line out in front of her.
Right.
And she's also a character that she's a music-based character that float, right?
Right.
Then there's this character, this character came out years ago. This character's name is Sona.
Oh, I remember that character, I think.
Yeah, so this character is another music-based floating character with long hair, whose first ability does damage to an enemy, whose second ability it doesn't slow the enemies, it speeds up allies.
Uh-huh.
The third ability is an AoE heal and shield.
Mm-hmm.
And the fourth ability is a rectangular projectile that shoots out in front of her that CCs an enemy.
Huh. Well, would you look at that?
So, as you might be able to tell, not only from looks and like themes of long hair female musician, their kits are also very, very similar.
Yeah.
And this is where a lot of they're losing out an inspiration. They can't make a unique character anymore kind of thing started coming from.
Oh, come on, though. It's
just like
you're really not gonna come across any sort of like overlap in 150 characters. Like, come on now.
So. Well, because like the thing is, they knew that like people were like, yeah, there's gonna be overlap. People were fine with like a little bit of overlap here. The biggest issue was the amount of overlap these characters had.
Yeah, I mean, I will admit that does sound pretty close. It sounds pretty close.
Yeah, because the thing is, like how I explained the abilities is like how most people like see the nuance, like the abilities together and how much overlap there is. Yeah. There is a lot of difference, like actual difference between the characters and how the characters work.
Well, I mean, you also said speed up versus the other
speed
one,
up,
right?
slow down.
Like that's actually hugely different.
But that's like that people are like, oh, that's one ability out of like 4 abilities.
Yeah, but one ability could, sync with a whole other set of characters versus slowing down with another set of characters. Like that's enough of a difference. Right.
So like, and where I like to bring out like some of the main differences between the two characters are, for Seraphine, her ability that damages enemies so she was actually designed to be a mid laner in the beginning and not a support, which is what Sona was designed to be. But she ended, just because of how her kit worked, she got put in the support role by the community. Yeah, because there's always champions that are built for one role but get thrown into the other role because that's just where they fit better.
Yeah, I feel like that makes sense.
Yeah. So like Seraphine's, her damaging ability is a skill shot that throws a node out onto the ground and it'll ripple out and deal damage in a circle. Where Sona's ability with the damages it sends out 2 projectiles to the nearest enemies, prioritizing enemy champions, and it'll do a small amount of damage to them. So it's not AOE, it's non-targeted, where Seraphine's is AOE and target.
Oh.
Sorry, and non-targeted, so it's like a skill shot.
That actually is pretty different, though. Like, a skill shot versus an AOE, like.
Yeah, a skill shot versus a targeted ability.
Versus a targeted ability.
Yeah. Huh. Whereas their healing ability, where they do an AOE heal/shield, Seraphine's only does shields unless you have her passive set up. Where her passive is basically an echo, which echoes one of her abilities after she uses like 3 or 4 abilities.
Mm-hmm.
And if when her abilities echo, they have a specific effect to them. Is
it like a lessened version of the skill, so it's not just actually double tapping it?
No, so it actually is just double tapping the ability.
That's actually pretty cool then.
Yeah, so like the double tapping with the damage ability, it'll shoot out 2 of the projectiles at the exact same spot. Just one's slightly delayed in an echo.
Cool.
For the AOE shield ability, if it echoes the shield, it'll actually send out a healing pulse as well.
Mm-hmm.
Where Sona's ability, which is an AOE heal in a smaller area, which also shields like 2 allies in a small amount. Which is another one of like the nuances between the 2 of them.
Yeah, so she doesn't have the echo thing at all. Then.
Yeah, Sona doesn't have the echo thing at all.
Okay.
But what Sona does have is her passive is Power Chord, where after like 3 or 4 abilities, her next auto attack is in hand.
But just the auto attack.
Spell she let. Yeah, but it's based on which spell she used.
Mm-hmm.
So like the healing one makes the enemy do less damage. Where if you use the damage one, that means your auto attack will do more damage. Where if it's like the speed buff one, your enemy will move slower if you auto attack them.
The bards are always so complicated. It's like you just can't have like a simple character like that. It's so funny to me.
Yeah. Yeah, and then like Seraphine's ability that slows down enemies. If it hits the enemy, it slows them. If the enemy is already slowed, it'll root them in place.
Oh.
And then if the enemy is already rooted, it'll stun them.
Mm-hmm. And if they're already stunned, it'll kill them instantly.
No.
All right.
But so that kind of, that's like Seraphine's all of her abilities were basically designed with the echo effect in place.
Yeah.
So because it'll shoot out another projectile that is also supposed to slow the enemy on impact.
Mm-hmm. So it'll do the slow and then the
slowed.
Okay.
Instead of just slowing them, it'll root them immediately.
Nice.
And if the enemy's already slowed, they'll get rooted up by the double tap.
Okay.
Or
see,
and so
that's always cool how all of those abilities work together. I like that sort of thing.
Yeah, the Echo is really cool, which is why I do like it a lot. I like both of these champions a lot. I play them both. I mean,
I feel like okay, so Seraphine is the one with the Echo then, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I now know 3 different characters and their abilities. See, this is why I feel like you'd be good at this though. Like if you try to do this whole teaching thing. Now, do you want to be
Probably not.
No.
Probably not.
Maybe not me personally, but I do think you would be definitely very good at teaching somebody this, for sure.
I am going to go over the last little bit of nuance between the differences in the abilities because
there is another one.
Yeah,
wait,
there's the last ability.
Is it the ults? Yeah,
it's those square. It's like those square projectiles I mentioned that they fire out and CC an enemy. Mm-hmm. So Seraphine's is a much longer projectile, but it charms enemies instead of stunning them. And it's a slower projectile, and if it hits an enemy, it resets its distance, so it goes even further.
Oh.
Where Sona's is a much shorter projectile. It's faster and it stuns.
Okay, but wait. Okay, so Sona was created a lot earlier then, right?
Yes, she was a lot earlier.
Like super early in the game.
When was she released?
Because, well, the reason I would even say that is because I know what she looks like and what she is, and I have not paid attention to League of Legends in a while.
So they have a release date that is almost exactly 10 years apart.
Oh my goodness. That's so funny.
It is. Let's see. What is it? Seraphine is over Sona. It is 10 years and 1 month.
Wow.
Is the difference between their release dates.
That's interesting though, because
yeah.
I definitely Does League have the Yu-Gi-Oh syndrome where the later champions have a lot more complex things that they're yes. Okay. I had a feeling.
We call that 200 years because in one of the dev blogs they mentioned how there's like been 200 years worth of collective like gameplay through the entire like 10 years that the game had been out.
Yeah.
And so and then they immediately release a champion like immediately afterwards whose like descriptions and like information about their skills would legitimately take you probably about 10 minutes to fully read.
Oh, goodness. It's so funny though, because I mean, once you actually get there and understand what all that stuff does, sometimes it's not even all that complex. They just wrote it in a really verbose way.
Yeah. It gets a lot more complicated. But granted, there are some champions now, like they still release champions that aren't more complex, that still have simple abilities. But it's like you have to become usually increasingly more complex to get more unique champions.
True. I mean, once you're at champion 150 or so, then it's like you have to go through so many avenues to understand how you're not going to overlap. And they probably thought they were doing that with Seraphine, and they were like, no.
They definitely knew there was going to be overlap between the two. There's no way they didn't.
But it's interesting though, because like the way that you describe that, the bare framework of it sounds very, very similar. Like the way in which a lot of those things, the way they're set up sounds similar. but the way they're executed is still totally different. So I almost feel like there's like a template they could follow with certain characters that they release. Do you feel like they do that?
Not entirely. I don't think they really follow a template. I mean, they I think the quote unquote template they follow is what style of champion they want released.
Yeah.
Like, did they want this to be an enchanter? Did they want this to be a berserker?
Mm-hmm.
There was a champion released a couple years ago. Her name was Renata Glask. Her framework was one that they hadn't been done in a long time, if at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's an aggressive enchanter. Enchanters are usually like passive healers, shielders, those kind of things. But this was an enchanter whose entire thing was, oh, this is my lane now. Like, you're my ADC and I control this. Instead of all right, I'm here to help you. No, this champion was like, you're my ADC. We're doing this my way.
Wait, so is there another character that plays sort of like the character that you played professionally with?
So no, they're two different styles of aggressive enchanter.
Mm-hmm.
Rakan is an engage enchanter, where the champion I'm talking about now is just like pure aggression and control. She plays similarly to a control. So there's different types of mages in the game.
Mm-hmm.
There's like artillery mages. There is not poke mages. There's control mages and there's artillery mages are the two main types. She plays closer to a control mage, which is like supposed to control like where people are in a fight, and like you have to avoid their abilities to actually like win fights and stuff. So instead of the Rakan who plays like a tank who dives into the fight and then, like roughs up the enemy, that kind of stuff.
Okay. There's a lot.
There's a lot.
There's a whole lot. It's interesting though, because I know that obviously on the surface level, there's a lot of people who will say a lot of things about the game and not really know all of that much, or have not really been around it. They just have sort of heard things. But honestly, that experience of sort of growing with a game is one of a kind in a lot of ways. Like you can't really take that out of people and sort of blame it on like some of the worst aspects of it, because
and the community is the worst aspect of this game.
For sure. Like, and we know that is a thing that can definitely turn people away. Like I even mentioned Undertale earlier. There's people now who don't like Undertale because they don't like the Undertale community. And you know what?
Yeah.
Fair play to them. Like, it's perfectly fine not to. But if you're just in there for the game, and especially if you got in early, you didn't have any of the hype, you were just like, oh, I see this game, I'm going to play it, and you just like it, then it's like you kind of feel a bit more insulated from stuff like that.
Yeah, the community and stuff. See, I joined League like I actually didn't start when the game came out.
Yeah. I
have played the game for about 8 years now of its like 14 years running.
Wow.
Like 13, I've played like 7-8 years now, so it's like I joined like mid-peak toxicity.
Oh wow. Yeah. That is interesting. It's been so long though.
Yeah.
It's been so long.
But I've definitely grown and seen a lot of the changes. This game has evolved like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's only one game that I've really felt like I've been kind of early in on the changes and everything, and that's been Omega Strikers. And
that's still a fairly newish game.
Yeah. And obviously with like the Riot devs and all that stuff in it too, it's very clear that they have a sense of MOBA progression as an idea, for sure.
Oh, part of that is because part of the dev team for that game came from League.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, it's awesome though, because I feel like I get to explore that sort of a world, but not have it
actually be in it.
not actually be in it. Yeah, like it's nice just seeing the game grow and like the characters archetypes grow, and I loved the art style of that game, and that was one of the main things that drew me into it.
See, I've thought about playing Omega Strikers, but I haven't actually gotten into it yet, specifically because I don't have time.
Yeah, no, honestly.
Because I still put my time into League of Legends. I put my time into other games. I still want to spend time with my friends and all that kind of stuff.
For sure. And I wouldn't even say that I play the game like a ton myself. It's just I've played it enough throughout certain areas of it where whenever I come back to it, there's something new. And I just sort of, I'll look around in there and like, oh, I'll play a few ranked matches and probably set up some sort of collab with Bunopolis. And then I'll just dip out for a while and then come back when there's something else new.
That's always not a bad way to play. It is definitely not a bad way to play. It's like you're here to see some new cool stuff. You're like, I've already played this. I'm a little bored with the basics of what's going on.
Yeah. I mean, it's anime air hockey. Like, how
how could you not like it? How could you not like it?
It's like, it's immediately readable as a game, like what you can start to do and everything. It's really simple, but it's got the complexity. Not hard to
get into.
Yeah.
It's not hard to get into. Because that's one of I do think that's one of the beauties of Omega Striker. It's unlike League, it's not a hard game to get into.
Yeah,
you don't have to know a bunch of mechanics to actually just feel good at playing the game.
I appreciated that so much about Smite, where they automated so much of like the buying and the builds and the character choice. Like you could basically just plug and play that game. And I think there's probably some stuff with that where they added that to League as well.
Yeah, I was about to say they've actually added a lot more of that. They have something now called like recommended build paths.
Yeah,
tell you it's good against blank. It'll literally tell you it's good against this champion and this champion that are currently in the game on the enemy team.
Well, that's the thing. Like, there's so much data of gameplay that there is no way that they couldn't use that in some sort of way to be like, okay, well, we know that certain people will pick this against this and will pick this more commonly than others. So it's, it would be easy enough to just throw up hey, do this. Hey, try to do this. And, you're going to ignore all that and pick something random if you're doing the trolling. But,
I don't even follow those build paths personally because I have general knowledge on enough stuff that I don't bother with it at this point.
Yeah, you wouldn't really have to.
Because I like learned everything past that. And then the only other downfall about that is while it gives you like the general knowledge of what people have played, that's not always necessarily like the right thing to build.
Yeah. And also there's it doesn't tell you how to play against two people. Like I mean that in the sense of it's not comps that it's telling you to play against. It's characters, right?
Oh, well, so it'll tell you based on the characters currently in the game.
Of all of the characters currently in the game, or just like
the ones you are currently fighting. Any of the 5 enemies on the team, the items will be like, hey, this item is good against this character in the game currently, in this current match.
Interesting.
But the biggest thing about that is, while it's not always necessarily the right choice, because another thing that doing that kind of thing that takes in like knowledge from like thousands of games is the people who don't know that they're building the wrong thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because
so it's accounting for people that are building it in the right way, but not people that are.
It's not counting out. It's not counting out people who aren't building the right thing.
Okay.
Because while the item might be like, say, hey, this item's good against this champion, and everyone builds it against this champion, hey, there's this better item you should build, which will make your champion even stronger against it, but no one knows it, so they never build it, and so the game doesn't tell you to build it because no one actually builds it.
Yeah, and then it's also going to flood the usage data with the recommended stuff. Because it's just going to loop into itself, because once you start recommending all of that stuff, then people are going to be like, oh, well, I'll just use this.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how it works. And that's That's how, and that's also what like happens with like people who see pro players build something once.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just the most inefficient build that you could do on that champion for what's strong right now. And then there's also like, so there's full items and there's half items. Like building full items, there's certain half items which just make you you can build for even just like, and not even finish into a full item, which will make you super strong against certain champions and that kind of stuff.
Oh.
So because there's this one champion called Urgot. He has an ability which makes him do a lot of auto attacks really fast, but they do like lesser damage.
Right.
This champion specifically has 2 items, one that'll screw him over and one that'll make him strong.
Oh.
So there's this one item that no one ever really builds on him that grants 3 health per auto attack.
Oh.
And so it heals him with that ability. It heals him an insane amount compared to, say, an item that gives percentage lifesteal.
Oh. Okay. So the lifesteal one would scale down with the amount of damage that he's doing.
Yes, and it would scale down with the amount of damage. Where if you take the flat healing, it'll end up healing you more.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
Because this is specifically like an early game item that you start with.
Mm-hmm.
Where the item that would screw him over is the
recommended one.
It's not. I don't even know if it's necessarily recommended at the current moment, because I don't play or play against Urgot very often because he's a top lane champion and I'm support.
Yeah.
But there's this item which reduces the amount of damage from auto attack individually. And and most people don't even build the item because they don't read what the items do.
Right. I know I wouldn't.
So it's just like. And so, since he already has lower damage from auto attacks, this one item not only does it give you armor, which is what his which blocks physical damage, which is what his auto attacks do. It also lowers the damage from auto attacks, so he just does like negative damage to you.
Wow! But does he still get the heal though?
He does still get the heal, but that requires him to build the healing item.
Yeah. So he wouldn't know to do it. Yeah, I guess. Ultimately, knowledge is always going to win out over stuff like that. I mean, they do exist for people like me who don't read and who just want to click into a character.
And who just want to have fun with the game.
Yeah.
Instead of because that's also things like micro things, which is like for more competitive type stuff.
Yeah. Because if you don't have people having fun at the bottom, you're not going to have anybody wanting to rise to the top.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is the other contentious part of having a 14-year-old game where people have been getting better since the beginning. So
yeah,
it's always difficult because, I mean, no matter what, I'm sure you're really good. But, the time in which that you were a pro player of today is playing a totally different game at this point.
Not necessarily, because I still play the game. Obviously, I still keep up with like what the best builds are. Obviously, I've gone down in skill slightly, but that's because one of the reasons I stopped playing for my school was because I injured myself and I couldn't play. I injured myself by playing too much. Carpal tunnel. At the time I was playing my college team, I played about 6 hours of League a day.
See, and they say athletes getting CTE isn't a problem. That's carpal tunnel.
Well, it wasn't even carpal tunnel. I didn't get carpal tunnel.
Oh, okay.
I had a it's something pretty close though. It's tendinitis.
Yeah.
I had drastic pain in the upper portions of my forearms.
Ooh.
Because my tendons were inflamed and stressed because I hadn't been doing proper stretches. I hadn't been exercising.
Yeah.
And I had just been playing League for 6 hours a day constantly. And when you're playing to get better, you tend to tense up more. And since I was tensing up more, it inflamed more, and it was just a cycle kind of thing. And so I ended up not playing any video games for the next 2 months.
I couldn't imagine that. I mean, even now, when I don't play too much. But
yeah, I sat and I just watched YouTube videos. I talked to my friends who were playing video games. I'd watch them play games. because I couldn't play games at the current moment because I was doing massages on my arms. I was icing my arms almost every single day or every couple days.
I'm not gonna lie. If I was hit with that now, I don't think I would actually mind that much because I would just sit there and watch a bunch of streams, honestly.
Mm-hmm. I mean, see, I like to play games and like, well, because the thing at my current time is though, I actually don't have an insane amount of time to do things. At this point. I stream 3 days a week, which I do enjoy, that's my game time, which is one of my main things about my streaming is my game time.
Yeah. I honestly, I can't think of an excuse that I would have to just like sit and play like a story game by myself. I know that I used to have more time to do stuff like that, but that was a long time ago. So honestly, it's a bit the same for me as well. Because even though I don't really play JRPGs that much, those are a thing that I just can't play by myself anymore. Because there has to be some sort of precedent for somebody to be seeing it or for it to be quote unquote worth something.
Yeah.
Because as much as I love the style of game, it just takes so long to do anything. And I would feel as though I was wasting time, even though it's not a waste of time. But I don't know. I find it more fun to stream games like that in general because you get somebody to talk to about it.
Yeah, and you get to see you get to live through the story with some other people, and they get to enjoy the game with you. Yeah, especially for people who can't necessarily play the games themselves.
Yeah, not everybody has like a nice PC setup. Not everybody has a bunch of old emulators trying to hook up and get some obscure
Pokemon games.
Yeah, some Nintendo game.
Yeah, because speaking of like story games and stuff, I just started a game called Song of Nunu, which just came out like yesterday.
I've never heard of that.
It's a League of Legends story because they've been branching out.
Oh no, I have heard of that. The fluffball one.
The Yeti and the boy. It's such a cute game. Because like those characters, like Riot Games has been branching out and actually like in using these games to tell the characters.
I'm glad they're licensing other companies to use them,
and it's great.
It's cool to see all of that because I'll be real with you. I've had no interest in really playing the actual game itself, but I have always seen the art style of
the art and the lore and are fantastic
and stuff like that. It's always looked interesting. I have yet to watch Arcane, but I know that there's a lot of people. I know. I know. But I really just even want to see it from like the art style standpoint of just how incredible that show looks.
Oh, it's so good. It's like even technically though the Arcane story isn't like canon to the Runeterra universe, it's a very close version of it.
Well, it's certainly a closer depiction that's been seen before. Or like I heard that there was a point in time where they were pretty light on stuff like that. Or like not really going, like they'll obviously have paragraphs and paragraphs of stuff to read, but that is not a
couple pages here and there, a couple short stories.
Yeah, that's not really the most presentable way to dispense your story to people.
Yeah, that's actually kind of why they're actually stopping doing that now.
Yeah, honestly, they might as well. Just put out a mini game.
Yeah, well, because there's been a lot of that's actually been a huge amount of discourse recently in the community is that they're stopping like doing short stories for characters and all that kind of stuff. But they are branching out and doing these games which tell the stories of the characters. Because this isn't the Song of Nunu isn't the first Riot Forge stories they've done. There has been 2 other Riot Forge games that
wasn't there like a pirate one?
Years. Oh, actually 3. Yes. So that's the Ruination. That tells the story of the legend of the Ruin King, which is one of the biggest, which is like one of the biggest events in like in all of Runeterran history. Where the other games that have released have been the Convergence, which was a story about a kid who had time powers in Zon.
Echo.
Yeah, Echo.
Okay.
Which is like another really good story. And like granted, like these games don't necessarily tell the stories like 100%, obviously, because there's liberties taken here and there.
Yeah.
But they're also still like pretty similar and close to like what the actual stories are.
Yeah. I feel like it's a much better way to
tell stories,
rope people in.
Yeah, it definitely is, because like even if like people aren't like, because one of the things I've said over the years of me playing League is even if you don't like League itself, its lore and its story should pull you in.
Yeah, and it's like, why do I know several different League of Legends characters? Some of them it's because
anything in the game.
Yeah, because their designs stand out for one, and for two, it's like, oh, I remember seeing them as the main character of this said game.
Yeah, and then because the second most recent Riot Forge game they released was the Mage Seeker. I don't know if you heard that one.
I've heard of it. I don't believe I've seen it though. And honestly, of all of these, I've actually never played or watched them. And I feel like I want to. Once the. Okay, I'll tell you what is going to be my actual intro into League. It's going to be Project L. It's going to be the fighting game.
I'm so ready for Project L. I'm just really, really, really hoping they add Rakan to it, because like he fits so well. But like,
I don't even know. Like, I'll admit the roster is recognizable just because I've seen the characters
Arcane,
and Arcane and stuff.
They're gonna bring their poster child. They're gonna bring their poster children in. That's 100% what's gonna happen.
Of course, but they've got to put Pikachu in there, you know, and everything. Who is the Pikachu of League of Legends? Teemo?
No.
No.
So I mean, if you're counting a little rat, then yes, but
I would say Jinx is probably one of the most recognizable characters.
Jinx. So the 4 champions I would put as the poster children for League of Legends are obviously like you know Jinx. Honestly, Ahri's actually kind of died out as the poster child. Yes. Interesting.
Give
me 1 second.
I do have like an older perspective on this series, though.
She used to be like, she still is like one of the poster children.
Yeah.
She's died out as one of like the main poster children.
Interesting.
Like, it's like she's still there. Obviously, she's still there, and she has years of experience, so she's gonna be there still.
Yeah.
But like, she's been kind of overshadowed by a couple characters either. One of the main ones being this champion right here. Her name is Kaisa. You've probably seen her at least a little bit here and there.
I've heard the name.
I sent you an image in the
I
chat
saw,
so you can see. Yeah.
Wait, is she one of the ones in KDA?
Yes.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I know about KDA.
Yeah, dude, KDA blew up.
Yeah.
So Kaisa is one of the more recent poster children. She's super high pro presence, super high non-pro presence.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously she was in the band as a dancer, so she's got that too with her.
Yeah.
And then we also have 1 second. Lux. Do you know Lux at all?
Yeah. I've heard the name, and I've probably seen them as well.
Yeah, I'll send another picture of her just so you know that as well. She is also one of the poster children of Lux.
Oh yeah, I've definitely.
Yeah, she also has one of the most annoying laughs in the game. She's simultaneously one of the most loved and one of the most hated characters.
Yeah, I've definitely. Yeah. So wait, are they actually already in the game, or do you just?
Oh, these are all characters that are already in the game.
No, I mean like Project L.
Oh, Project L. Project L or no, these are characters that some of these characters probably won't be in there. I believe Lux is just because she is a main poster child, but Kaisa has a high chance. I'm hoping she doesn't because I don't think she fits in there as well. But
so you don't feel like there's a fighting game archetype that fits her playstyle or something?
So I've never been like too into fighting games personally, but I have played some here and there. Like I played some Blaze Blue, and then I've played some Soul Calibur. I played some like 2 hours of Soul Calibur.
Incredible game.
Well, because I never really had like the systems at the time to play some of those games, so I just kind of never got into them.
Yeah.
Because I've also like I grew up with video games around the time where like my first games were like plug and plays.
Yeah.
I never really had much other than the plug and play.
Wait, so what was your first like game console then?
My first game console was a Wii.
Oh.
We had a PC that played like disc games.
Yeah.
But our first console was a Wii.
Yeah, and my first one was a Super Nintendo. Although, technically there was one before it that we had. It was a Sega Genesis, but our uncle forgot to give us the cables. So we literally never got to play it ever.
Oh, no.
And we didn't have any games on it either.
Oh, that's also.
So it was like, we had it, but there was not really much use for it.
No, my family was a Nintendo-based family. We didn't have an Xbox. We didn't have any PlayStations. We had a Wii and a Wii U.
Yeah, we kind of surfed between all of them, especially because we played a ton of PC games at first. But I think it went something like Super Nintendo, then PS1, then Game Boy Advance SP. DS. We just we got a GameCube for sure, and then PS2. We just sort of got anything really. I think after then it was the 360, just because we wanted Tales of Vesperia on there.
Yeah, no. See, my for consoles, like I had to buy my own consoles for like handheld consoles.
Yeah.
So I didn't get my first. I got my Game Boy Advance when I was 12. And when I was able to buy it with some money I'd saved up.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I didn't. I didn't work that early.
Yeah. See, I didn't work early either, but I saved up my birthday money. I saved up Christmas money. And
so you had foresight.
I ended up finding, and see, I ended up saving. I found a Game Boy Advance on what was it, eBay or something?
Oh.
And it was someone selling it for $40.
Oh wow.
With 12 games.
Well, that's just lucky. That's like That's like finding it at a. Do you have
sale?
Yeah, garage sale. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like finding an old woman who doesn't know the value of it.
That's basically. Well, the only downfall was there was like no good games.
Oh, well, yeah.
they were all like games that like you'd never hear of.
Yeah.
Or, like, they weren't good. The first like good game I got for my Game Boy was one that my mom actually bought me when I had strep throat.
Oh.
It was Pokemon Red Rescue Ranger.
I think I've heard of that one.
It was the Mystery Dungeons.
The Mystery Dungeon ones, yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard good things for sure.
It was a lot of fun. I actually really enjoyed it. I'm glad they made remakes for it onto the Switch and stuff. But it always holds that place in my heart back from when I was like sick with strep throat and that's all I was playing.
Yeah. Handhelds were such good like sick person content.
Yeah.
At the time. Every single time you would be able to just curl up and just get warm and just play anything. That was me with the PSP and the DS Lite and stuff.
See, I went from my Game Boy to a 3DS.
Oh. See, I actually only ever borrowed a 3DS. I've still never had one.
Yeah. See, I had because funnily enough, So the DS was already out when I bought my Game Boy. But since I didn't have a lot of money, I couldn't buy a Game Boy, so I bought the Game Boy.
Oh, nice.
DS, so I bought a Game Boy, which is one of the reasons why I bought that at the time, was because I wanted a handheld console. I wanted to play some games, and that's what came out, and that's what was available for my very very limited child budget.
Yeah, there were definitely times like that because when we had the Super Nintendo, I think the PS2 was already out. So we were going way back in there of not really. I remember seeing PS2 commercials on the TV when we were playing the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
We would just sort of get whatever was out, and it would always be like birthday or Christmas or something.
Yeah.
But never really keeping up with the current thing. I have still honestly kept to that. I've not gotten a PS5. I've not gotten whatever the hell the Xbox is called now.
I don't know.
I don't even think they're gonna make any more of those at this point. Like, what would even be the point? But
at this point, I try and keep up with the consoles. I still don't have a PlayStation or an Xbox. I've still never owned one of those.
Yeah.
But like I try and keep up with the newest like Nintendo consoles. Obviously, they've gone to like only handheld, like the Switch now. It's like a handheld console mix thing.
Yeah.
But like I
very clever idea.
Yeah, it was very good. It was very good. I ended up buying, but like I went to my 3DS when I was like 14, 15. Like I saved up money from babysitting and like. I also at my high school, my gym coach employed me a little bit for doing the scoreboard at basketball games.
Oh, so just like extra job kind of stuff.
Yeah, just little jobs here and there. I honestly I don't remember exactly how much I'd get per night for the basketball games, but it was a pretty good amount for what I did.
Yeah.
Like I sit there for like 3 hours pressing buttons.
Yep.
And I think I got anywhere. I think what was it? I think it was somewhere between $50 and $100.
Yeah, they just call that streaming now.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, so I ended up doing odd jobs here and there to get a 3DS, and then I upgraded to the 3DS XL after working at a summer camp.
Ah. Yeah, I never got the XL. It was literally just my friend lending me out the 3DS, but it was like a hacked 3DS. So it was all, it was all cracked, and I could get on the store, get some games. I honestly only used it to play Project Cross Zone and then Project Cross Zone 2. That was it.
Yeah. See, I ended up giving a friend of mine my normal 3DS because I wanted him to like play games with us. So I gave him my normal 3DS when I bought the 3DS XL. Yeah.
I still wish I had done that to the PSP as well, because that was another one that was super crackable at the time, but it was a birthday present, so I felt like some kind of attachment to it. Like I really didn't want to break it. I feel
that attachment. I still have my Game Boy. It's funnily enough, it actually still works. I just gotta charge it. But I thought it was dead for a while. I thought I killed it. I thought I killed it because I accidentally got thrown into the washer for like 10 minutes.
Wow.
And I'm just like, I was like, I set my 3DS down. I set my Game Boy down on like a basket of laundry because my mom wanted me to go do something. And then someone went and threw it on because I set my red Game Boy down on top of a piece of red clothing.
Oops. Camouflaged.
Yeah, and so like I had it in rice for like 2 weeks and it wouldn't turn on. And then like I came back to it like a year later and I was like, does this work? And I plugged it in and it turned on and I'm like, holy crap, you live.
I'm sure there's probably like one moldy grain of rice inside of there, but like it
wouldn't even get I would say I didn't even open it up to put it in the rice.
Oh yeah.
So I just threw the Game Boy in a bag of rice, like fully closed and stuff.
Wait, so are you supposed to open it up or no?
I don't know.
I feel like you're supposed to. Like that's always the idea that I got, but at the same time, they've got like aftermarket screws and stuff on there too.
I was a stupid preteen at that point. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah, like you'll hear about the rice thing, but you'll never really exactly see like the process of it. And so it's just like the desperation at the time of
throw it in rice.
It's just like anything that you want to do to try and save it at that point.
But it lives, and I still have it to this day.
I one time tried to give some milk to my Tamagotchi when I was somewhere around 3 years old, and I just dropped it in milk just directly.
Oh no!
And I'm pretty sure it died.
Oh no! Poor Tamagotchi.
And that was only the second pet that I had ever had. The other one was the goldfish that we had for one day from a carnival. But we never really messed with pets that much. After then, I believe we only really ever had one of those Digivices. So that I think we also had a Neopets Tamagotchi too. Like those were pretty cool.
I never actually got to have one of those as a kid.
It was
I always
nice.
wanted one, but I never got to have them.
Yeah, I guess it's not exactly dead anymore because now there's nostalgia market stuff where they're like putting out Tamagotchis as if anyone is actually doing anything with a Tamagotchi other than holding it. But
so, like, did you have any other pets other than like normal Tamagotchi, or like actual pet other than fish, or did
no,
you just have that one fish?
Not a one. It was actually just like
is
human survival mode. Well, we always sort of had like a house situation that was a bit more focused on the fact that there were 3 kids in it than, dealing with
me with 4 siblings.
Yeah, it was one of those like survival of the fittest types of situations.
That's fair.
So yeah, there was never really a lot of focus on being able to have pets because. We weren't exactly the richest people in the world.
Yeah, no, I feel that.
I think the idea of like feeding and taking care of one more living being would have been like too much at the time.
That's fair. That's entirely fair.
Yeah.
See, my family would have had like a dog or a cat if my dad would have let us.
Yeah. And
I don't think if it's a dog, it has to be an outdoors dog. And my mom was like, "No, we can't have it just be outdoors."
Yeah, I do feel like I know that there's people that do the outdoors thing, but I would feel like
feel bad for it.
Feel bad, especially during the winter and all that.
Yeah, that's what we were like. We can't do that. And then my dad also had the fact that like he wouldn't allow rodents in the house, so that includes anything in the rodent family. Like you can't have hamsters,
gerbils,
no hamsters, no gerbils, no rabbits, no.
Wait, rabbits are hamsters? I mean, sorry, rabbits are rabbits are rodents.
Are rabbits rodents? Instantly, the rodenta does not include rabbits. But he put it along with that. In that family where we weren't allowed to have them.
Well, honestly, I get it because I mean you're kind of going to be caring for them in a similar way at that point. So no small animals. How about that?
Yeah. What he would let us have though is we were allowed to have fish, and I was barely able to manage to get a lizard. Because the only reason is because it was I brought home one of the ones from school. Because I won the raffle to take the pet home. And so to take the extra work. Yeah, I got to take the little lizard home that we were using for our observation experiment.
Yeah.
And once the experiments were done, I got to take it home. One of the few that we had home.
Well, those are at least like quiet, somewhat low maintenance, decorative type.
Which is why he let me keep it. Although he was not happy about the crickets that we had to feed it.
Yeah.
Because they may have, I don't know how, found ways to slide out of the container that we kept them in.
Ooh. Did it become an infestation?
No, it wasn't an infestation. You just occasionally find like 1 or 2 crickets around the house.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
and like obviously they grow as they get inside and like live longer. And so yeah, and then there was one time the lizard actually got out of the cage and was running across the walls.
Oh no.
I was like, oh no, get back. Yeah, no, I mean, it wasn't freaking me out. I was just more panicking that we wouldn't be able to catch it.
Yeah. I do not like seeing small animals in high places, other than squirrels or whatever. It's like, I remember there was a time in which, mice were a little bit more commonly seen around here. There was literally like a sting operation by the neighborhood to release cats to like kill the rodents.
I love that.
It seems so like, it seems like a Redwall subplot or something, but it's like there's no, but before then, obviously mice and rats and stuff would get inside, and I still remember just hearing a rustling and looking up at a curtain and just seeing a mouse just at the top. And it was just like, you know what? Nowhere's safe. Just nowhere is safe. If they can get all the way up there, then what am I even doing having food anywhere? It's like,
it's that's a very rough. That's very
bad times. But thankfully, that was a very long time ago. So I mean, this house is free of all of that sort of stuff at this point because of all the cats.
Yeah, cats. Woo. Mm-hmm. Speaking of releasing animals into like the neighborhood and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I grew up living in like the suburbs, so it's like we're like right on the we're like not like a big city, but we're like a decent sized city and stuff.
Yeah.
And there in my neighborhood, there was a wild chicken and a wild rooster that would just walk around the neighborhood.
Oh my goodness.
And it's like there are people who wanted it caught, and then but we're just like, let's just let them walk. Just let them walk. They ain't doing nothing.
See, down here in the South, they actually, I think they had to either tell people to stop owning chickens or just like tell them to just own one, because I'm pretty sure I do remember that there was one point in which our neighbors had a rooster, and we would literally be woken up by a rooster in just like a regular neighborhood. It's not farmland.
That's what's happening. That's what was happening in our neighborhood.
Yeah, it's just like, it is wild that I have to hear this noise.
Yeah, no, people hated that.
Yeah. I would rather hear loud music, honestly, than be woken up by that thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. You mind if we take like a quick 5-minute break?
Sure. I would love that, actually.
Yeah.
Because nobody ever does that, and so I end up doing all this.
Do that?
No, nobody does it.
I'm like, I need water. I need to use the bathroom.
The time with rain, it was literally 5 hours, no breaks.
No, holy crap, dude!
No breaks.
I like my breaks.
I appreciate that. Thank you for being healthy.
All right, I'll be back in a couple minutes then.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, I am back.
Okay.
Whoa, there we go. I got an ice cream sandwich to keep get that little bit of sugar going.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's funny. I think I asked you one question.
Yeah. And then that question was, what type of games?
You know what? I kind of knew that's how this was gonna be, and I'm totally there for it, honestly.
I could talk about League, because like we went on like an 1.5-hour tangent of just League of Legends.
Oh, for sure.
Like I could go on for hours more about that game.
I'm genuinely, you know what? I will pat myself on the back, because I am very happy that I knew stuff about it enough to be able to hit the ball back at least a little bit.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people are, you know, I don't want this to turn into talking about the game too much again, but I know that people are very, very dismissive of the game, for sure. Mm-hmm. And they have a right to be, because if they don't like the kind of game that it is, then why would they play it?
Exactly. And I know I tend to like tangent back to the game personally, because it's my most played game, and it's what I know most.
For sure. And I will always probably relate things through the lens of like stuff that I play, and I know that it's a weird smattering of games as well, because it's like JRPGs, it's gacha games, it's fighting games. It's like anything that I've latched onto over the past few years. It never really matters with genre that much to me. Like I'll get into stuff because of art style mostly.
Mm-hmm. Like a game with art style that I love recently that I've only seen a little bit of was Slay the Princess. That looks so good.
It does look cool. I've only seen very, very little, and I sort of know like the basic concept of it.
I watched a friend play a little bit of it,
Hmm.
and it's like I'm just like, holy crap, this is a drug trip.
Yeah, those are interesting for sure. I like whenever something goes for like a different type of feeling to it as well. And nothing against nostalgia, you know,
Oh yeah.
but everything being pixel games is like it has gotten to a point where I think we finally moved past everything being the same kind of pixel art style. Like there's
Yeah.
definitely been some variations. Like stuff like Signalis is crazy looking to me.
I don't think I've heard of that one.
Signalis, let me go ahead and link it. I actually saw Hyvo playing a little bit of it. I don't know if it's spooky season time still.
Oh.
I mean, there can be a cooldown for it, I imagine, but
No,
like
I'm always down for
a winding
spooky stuff.
down period. But yeah, this game,
I'm looking at the Steam page right now.
yeah,
Let's see.
that's pixel art. Isn't that crazy?
Wait, is this pixel art?
Yeah, that's pixel
Oh
art.
yeah, that is. Oh, I love this type of
It's
pixel
wild.
art. The like hyper detailed pixel
Yeah,
art.
like back from some like the DOS era stuff.
Ooh, that actually looks so cool. Let me see. What's the
Super
gameplay
cool.
look like though? What's the gameplay?
It's very Resident Evil,
oh
like
my
old
god.
Resident Evil.
Holy
Yeah.
bro, some of the animation on that was crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts. I think it's also like 3D imposed with.
Yeah, that's
pixel
what I was
art,
looking at.
too.
And yeah, it's 3D pixel art.
Yeah.
That's actually insane.
It's so cool. Just on style alone, I want to play that game. It's so
yeah,
cool.
that actually looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I've got way too many games to play that I need to play through before I do that though. Like I still have to get Baldur's Gate.
Oh, that's a rabbit hole that I'm just not even gonna go down. I'm sorry.
see I like D&D and stuff, so, and I know why some of my IRL friends want me to play with them, and
Yeah.
like, Evil campaign, and then Sprinkles wants to play with me, and I'm just like, okay.
I'm still hanging on for somebody to play Wildermyth with me. I just want to get
Wildermyth.
one good.
I don't even Wildermyth.
Wildermyth is really cool. It's got like
Wildermyth.
it's got it's D&D, but like the story is generated as well.
Oh.
And so I think no two stories are the same. And that can go for some like goofy kind of generation stuff for sure. But I think it's really fun. And you obviously create your own characters and everything. It's got now the gameplay style. I know that I went on a little thing before about like strategy games, but I feel like it fits more in this context.
Different.
Yeah, D&D's different. You know, it's always going to be filtered through the lens of like it's D&D. So
yeah. It's a much different lens. It's a much different lens.
for sure.
Because like I think a lot of the strategy, like what makes D&D different from normal strategy type games is like you have the character customization and the uniqueness that like it changes every time.
Yeah, for sure.
Where like other strategy games, you're like, oh, if I move this way, the enemy will exactly move like this, and
yeah.
like,
And
which
you
is
know,
which is like Fire Emblem type things, like like, oh, I can do this exact type of thing, and then the enemy will do this exact type of thing.
yeah. And I will say, like, of those kinds of games, Wargroove probably looks like the most interesting one to me. I never played Advanced Tactics or anything like that, but apparently it's very heavily based on that.
Interesting.
And it's got a very like even that art style is a bit different than some of the usual pixel art styles for Wargroove.
Yeah, that's all that, dude. Like I said, it's pixel games and like pixel games and D&D. Those types of games are always like close to my heart.
Yeah.
It's like I always wanted to play D&D as a kid, but I wasn't allowed to play D&D with my family until I turned at least 13.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because
See,
it's like it's a teen rate. It's like a teen. It's not a rated E for everyone. If I'm not mistaken, it's at least like a teen rated game.
yeah. Well, I mean, there were different reasons why I wasn't allowed to play D&D because I think it was the devil, apparently, for around here. So, you know, that's just one of those southern things, I think.
Storytelling with a board game is
oh, man. And also
rolling
certain books.
Dice.
And also, I mean, dice and cards.
Man, I mean, and granted, there are devils in D&D.
Well, yeah. And, you know, you can partner with, like, an ancient god that may or may not be malevolent in some sort of way.
And murderous.
But, yeah, you know, maybe they were onto something with that one.
Maybe. But see, that's just part of the game. It's just part of the game.
It's storytelling. I mean, come on.
Because, like, you can have non-devil stuff-based D&D.
Of course. And I think that is one of those things that people just didn't really understand around here. Like, it was one of those carte blanche things of just, like, if it's a certain way and it gets a bad news story told on Fox
it's out of
News
there.
or
It's
something,
out of there. It's out of there.
Yeah. I'm actually surprised I was able to read certain books as well. Because it was literally a book that I was reading about a necromancer. And I don't think my parents knew.
They probably didn't.
No. Well, it was a book by Garth Nix. And it was one of the series that I actually didn't really get much into. But he wrote like a third series. There were two other series of his that I wrote, or read, rather. And I didn't get into it, but I later found out that it was about a necromancer.
Oh.
Yeah. And so I kind of want to go back and like get to that part now.
Nice. I mean, do it. What's stopping you?
The fact that I don't like to read anymore, that's what's stopping me.
Fair.
Like,
See,
it's gaming or reading, and I would rather read or game. Sorry.
See, I used to read books back like when you were basically forced to read in school.
Yep. Honestly.
But I've more gone into the webcomics because I liked reading comics.
Yeah.
And I currently read like 3 hours of comics a day.
Oh wow. That's more than normal, I would say.
Yeah. I may have an addiction.
Well, that's a good one though. I mean, you're exploring the media. Okay. Well,
not necessarily.
You're immersing yourself in stories. How about that?
People are often confused on how I keep track of all the stories because if I go and like count the number of current comics that I read, overall there's over 400 comics that I read.
That is wild.
Ones that consistently update every week. That's limited probably down closer to 100, but
I think the last webcomic I ever read like regularly while it was out was Ava's Monster.
I don't think I've read that one. I don't know what that one is. Granted, I also specifically only read on webtoons.
Oh.
But that's also partially because if I go to another app, I'm gonna get another 3 hours worth of comics off that app.
Oh yeah.
And I can't do that.
Oh wait, Ava's
Which is
Demon,
why
that's
I'm missing
right.
out.
But no, yeah, webtoons is obsessive. So I've heard. And it's because you can just get so easily to another story, and it's like, ooh, I wonder what this is. Ooh, I wonder what this is.
Yeah, it's super accessible for most of the things. Granted, some of those 400 stories that I'm counting are ones that have completed already now too. Because I've read way too many.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I tend to read like 3 hours of comics a day. I start reading at like midnight, and I'll end at like 2 a.m. and then I'll continue reading another 1 hour in the morning, and it's
yeah,
it's a lot. It's a lot.
That's honestly how I used to be with reading though, because I would stay up so much, and if I got into a book, I would just not put it down.
Oh, you wouldn't put it down.
But
That's one of the advantages of being caught up on a comic, though, is I can't read for hours and hours on one comic.
Yeah, but then in order to get to that point,
you read hours and hours, or you start when it first releases.
Yeah, true. And
I definitely did that though.
Yeah,
catching up on comics.
That was actually me with Ava's Demon though, because I'm looking at it right now. It's copyright 2012 to 2023, and it's like I remember some of those first chapters being out back then, because that I mean, I'm fairly old, but 2012 is actually when I graduated high school, so I remember that in particular. I'm not trying to get you to read this, but I'm just linking this for context. So this is what I'm talking about. But yeah, like they added like auto saves and bookmarks. That's crazy. I haven't really seen that. But yeah, I don't even know what this is about anymore at this point. Like I've never really I feel like I read some chapters very, very long time ago, and if you tried to tell me what it was really about, I wouldn't even know anymore. But I feel like I got that way. Huh?
Like is it like I'm quickly scrolling through.
Oh yeah.
Being like my first question is inner demon or actual demon?
Well, maybe I just
I won't go too depth into it right now. But I wanted to scroll through the first like at least like 10 pages or so, see what it was.
Mm-hmm.
It's like some type of either inner demon or like actual demon type thing.
See, that's the thing though. Right at the beginning, it's like that was eye-catching immediately with like, I wonder what this is about. But at the same time, it's kind of funny because the resolution of it is so small now. Like back then, this was like as big of a website as you'd really get. And I remember reading this on like a 4:3 monitor, and so like all of this would be filling up the whole screen. But now it's like it's so tiny.
It's so tiny.
Yeah. But yeah, I was kind of like that with manga, but I just got so confused after a while because I didn't have a site that I was bookmarking it specifically on, and so I would just lose everything. And then now I will occasionally look at an anime and think, why does that look familiar? Why?
Oh, I saw it in a comic.
Yeah. It's like years ago, I've read like 3 chapters of this and then lost it. And so it's like, I'm familiar with how the characters look, but then now they're moving on a thing.
I'd say a couple examples of at least comics that I've read that have gotten anime. We had The God of High School.
Oh.
We had Noblesse, and we had Tower of God.
Oh, I still remember when Tower of God came out.
Yeah.
So you've read the comics first, huh?
Yeah. So Noblesse and The God of High School are both completed comics. That are. I was so sad because The God of High School ended, I think, earlier this year.
Oh, did they not go through all of it?
No. The anime is nowhere near any of it. The anime hit like the first arc. And there's like 20 more arcs they have to go through at least.
Okay. Yeah. I think this actually happened with the Bully Nagatoro one. I think I'd read the manga for that for quite a while, and then I stopped.
And then the anime came out.
Yeah, the anime came out, and then it's like, oh, now everybody knows about this character, and it's like drawing them and stuff.
See, I had never read Nagatoro before that, but I had seen some videos and like some memes of the characters before that.
Yeah, sometimes
I'm very prevalent in the anime community, so I see like a bunch, like I'll watch like some YouTube videos and I'll see a bunch of like people like posting memes about it, or like there was memes on Twitter about it, and then it got so popular that they made into an anime.
Yeah, sometimes a manga panel will just on its own escape and become a meme. That's always interesting to me.
Yeah.
And I feel like
so funny. Like especially when like they take like the normal text that's on the manga panel and replace it with something else.
Oh yeah. It's always great. I mean, not always. Sometimes it's really offensive and stupid. But, mostly it's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'll say some of the like manga to anime that I can think of that like got really popular with memes and then became an anime. Like Nagatoro's one of those.
Yeah.
Magical Senpai. Then there's also Skilled Teaser Takagi-san.
Oh yeah, that one too.
Yeah. Tomo-chan is a girl. Those kind of ones. All those ones like are the ones off the top of my head that I can think of that like got memed into an anime.
Yeah. Huh. I'm trying to think of an. Oh yeah, that's right. There was a. Do you remember there was an anime that was like really weird looking and rotoscoped? Like not too long ago, like Aku no Hana, I think, or maybe.
Trying to think.
I think it was by that same author.
I said Aku no Hana's Flowers of Evil.
Oh wait, no, maybe it's not. Was it Mari something? I forgot which one, but I still remember like that was such a strange one because the art style of the anime or the art style of the manga was very distinct, and then their way of adapting it was just like rotoscoping everything. Like I couldn't understand that choice. It did make it very unsettling though. So maybe that's what they were going for. I'm not entirely sure
because like I didn't entirely go through since I have all my web comics and stuff, I didn't really read as much manga. I see like manga memes and stuff there, but I didn't actually go through and like read the manga.
Yeah, and I definitely don't have like a physical collection, so I'm not even gonna be like I can't even pretend like I was one of those people. I do respect that though. Like the manga shelf is a wonderful thing to look at, but.
See, I've actually recently bought some webcomics physical copies. That they released recently because I'm just like I really like these comics and I want I want a physical copy. I want to support them and that kind of stuff. So I bought some.
Yeah.
And I have my I actually only bought 2 recently, but that's all I have for those.
Well, hey, that's enough to start a shelf.
Yeah, and then I also one I didn't buy though was a couple months ago. It was like about half a year ago, maybe a little more. My old boss at one of my old logo jobs I had, she actually gave me like the first chapter of Fairy Tail.
Oh.
That one of her friends got in Japan. So it's all Japanese, so I can't read it. But I have a first chapter Fairy Tail in Japanese in my cupboard as well.
Wait, do you actually like Fairy Tail though?
I do like Fairy Tail. I do like it. It did get a little painful when it was, constantly, the power of friendship, the power of friendship.
Well, I guess that would stand to reason. How much of it did you watch? Because
all of it.
Oh, okay. So all the way to the end then.
Fairy Tail was the first like big anime I watched.
You know what? That's a good one to be the first one, I would say. Like, other than maybe Bleach is another fairly kind of simple one.
Funnily enough, that is like the only big anime I have watched. Like I have not seen Naruto, I have not seen Bleach, I have not seen One Piece.
Okay.
Yeah. I've watched some Dragon Ball, but not all Dragon Ball.
All right, here's my molten hot lava, spicy, scorching, whatever take. I don't like Dragon Ball. I don't like Dragon Ball Z.
No, that's fair.
I don't like any of it. Fair. I feel like there's much better representations of battle anime, and that one.
Yeah. Oh, there 100% are.
Like.
It's just Dragon Ball is that. Dragon
People
Ball is
like
that
the idea.
Yeah,
of it.
It's literally just it's a power fantasy anime where it's like
the people who condense it. Yeah, you can condense it into an AMV and you'll get all that you can really get out of it. because there's not really much development. There's not really much character stuff.
You could
over a huge amount of time, yes, but not. You're not really following the characters. You're following the fights.
Yeah, it's why there is it's why there's just like the jokes that the characters take 20 episodes to power up.
Yeah, because all there is
basically is.
Yeah,
it's powering up and fighting. It's literally just a fight frenzy. That's all that anime is, and I don't mind that necessarily. I do. Because like I'll literally go like I said, the reason like I haven't watched all of Dragon Ball and I've watched parts of Dragon Ball is because I specifically will literally just go watch the fights on YouTube.
Yeah, honestly,
like the entire Tournament of Power, all I did which was one of the more semi-recent stuff like within the last 5 years, where it was like they were fighting for to save their universe or whatever against the other universes. Like I literally only watched the YouTube basically highlights of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like that's literally all you need to do with that. It's unfortunate, I suppose, but it's just, I feel like okay, I'll do you one similar. The reason I even know anything about the story of Dragon Ball Z is because I played the games. Like I played Tenkaichi and it had a story mode, and it was much snappier because I just got to go into the setup of the arc, play the fights, and then go on to the next one. It was like, oh wait, this is the perfect form of this. This really should have only ever been a game. Like that. That's it.
Yeah, almost all of my Dragon Ball knowledge is from YouTube.
Yeah.
Like, just watching YouTube videos of it and clips of it.
Yep.
And the only other knowledge I actually gained of Dragon Ball is actually the plug and play.
Oh.
The Dragon Ball plug and play.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that at all, or
I don't remember that, no.
It was around the time of the Cell arc. Like this game, it was actually like it was one of the fighting style games, like the 2D front, one player versus the other player, you have the health bars. It was a fighting game.
Yeah.
And it was a plug and play. That was also my first fighting game experience. It just took the entire game took you through the story of battling Cell and killing Cell.
Yeah. And that's. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it all fits more in a game format for everything, especially because there's so many tournaments and stuff. Like,
oh yeah,
that can just be gameplay.
But see, they can make money off of it.
Well, yeah, they can certainly do that by making both, or expanding out certain fights by just padding and then showing a flashback of half the episode.
And repeating the same scene 6 times.
Yeah. But I mean, that's not to diminish anyone's experience. Yeah,
to each their own. It's like,
I would honestly say I like Bleach a lot, but you could honestly do the exact same thing with Bleach.
Yeah.
Like you could put together all of the major fights, and you know what? Fairy Tail, it's a little bit more. I feel like it's a little bit more than just the fights, and that's kind of why I like it.
It definitely is. It definitely is.
Yeah.
There's at least some character development, and while a lot of it was Dan time skips. And granted, while a lot of the deciding factors of fights were the power of friendship, it still had genuine reasons for characters to get stronger throughout the series.
For sure. And also just progression of people's powers made a little bit more sense than I'm more powerful now. I'm going to hold up a thing and we powered up. That's it. That's all. I push harder.
Lucy gaining more keys. Lucy gaining more keys to increase her power. That's a good power scaling.
Yeah.
Natsu gaining the ability to, he ate another dragon's powers.
Yeah.
That's another good power scaling.
There's actual, and also I do feel like people's looks changed over a bit. Their styles 100%. Changed and things it's you know, the ally gaining was a little bit more aggressive for
Oh yeah,
Fairy Tail for
100%.
sure. Like it wasn't just
that's the
Vegeta
power of
coming over to be like a good guy now. It's like everybody from like some of the first arcs was over there.
Did you watch all of Fairy Tail, or did
Yes,
you?
I did. Well, okay.
Okay.
I read all of Fairy Tail. I did not watch the latter half of the anime, but I know the entire story because I read all of Fairy Tail. Yeah.
Okay, so spoiler alert for the last bits of Fairy Tail, like the final like arcs and stuff. I'm just like, honestly, the last arc was whereas like Natsu like learned he was like a demon. Like,
yeah.
That one was I feel like that last portion was never really brought to fruition properly.
Yeah.
At least in the anime.
It felt tacked on.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be real here. It's like it. I mean, if there was like sensible build up to it, I could understand, or like some sort of reasoning for it. But I've seen similar things happen, and it's like
well, I don't remember his brother's name. But,
what, Zeraph's brother's name?
Oh yeah, no, Natsu's brother's
name.
Oh,
Natsu's
brother,
yeah.
Zeraph or whatever.
Zeraph, yeah.
Yeah. Like how it was like, and because like the whole buildup was, we don't know who this guy is. I found out he's my brother who created me into a demon to bring me back.
Yeah.
I'm like that's kind of just tacked on.
It feels very Shyamalan,
and then
looking at the camera kind of thing.
And then only after Natsu learns this does he like start falling to his demon powers. And then, And
I don't
then
know.
he's brought back by here's a sacrifice. I'm just like, come on.
Okay,
come on.
Here's my other criticism of Fairy Tail, and maybe it's a common one, but death meant nothing. Death meant absolutely nothing the entire time. They would do it so often.
Don't die. Characters don't die in that show.
Freaking Makarov was so stupid. I'm sorry. Bro, I loved him. God. But it's like, let him die or stop trying to tease it. Just stop. Yep. Like the first time it was impactful. Now you did it 3 times. Just stop. Like,
death meant nothing. The characters don't die in that show.
They just don't. They just don't. And it's like, if you're gonna have any sort of risk, you don't have to be extreme, but just one, right?
I'm trying to think of the characters that died in the show. And
just the lackeys.
I'm like,
or maybe not.
Like the only character I can think of that actually died was they weren't a main character, if they were a side character. This was like right before Jalal's like turned back to good when they were in like the tower and stuff.
Yeah.
And Urza's old friend died saving them.
Oh, well.
Because they were like you can't even look at the fact like, you can't even remember them. You can't even remember.
It's like, oh, what?
Dude had like dude had like a metal jaw, and it was like he was like a big brother to her, I guess.
Oh, I think I remember them, but
let me
see
if I can find an image of them.
It's like it's probably within context was impactful, but over
Simon,
the scope of
that was his name.
Sure.
You don't even remember who Simon is.
I can't even correct you on that because I'm just gonna take your word on it.
At least I think he died, because I could be wrong. He's not dead, but like I'm almost positive this man died.
Oh, yeah, I remember him. I think.
Just like, did he die? I think so. I think Jalal killed him.
Sure. Right.
Sure.
I remember that he exists, certainly, but I don't know. I guess that is another issue, is that sometimes you can't really like set up things for characters as easily, because it requires following their travels before they met like the party and stuff, and it's hard to really get into that sometimes. So I get it that you're not going to be able to like strike out with like killing a really significant character sometimes.
Yeah. I just looked up who died in Fairy Tail, and I now have a list of Fairy Tail's saddest deaths ranked. We have Kyoka from Zeraph's Aetherius group.
Ooh.
We have God Serena. I don't remember who.
Aw.
Manhandled wizard saints to eradicate all dragons. Death came crashing down against Agnolia.
Oh yeah, I guess Acnologia killed some people. I don't know.
Yeah, I barely remember that Acnologia. It was like built up to be this big thing, and then it kind of died in like a couple episodes.
Yeah.
Lacade Dragneel, one of Zeref's strongest soldiers. Master Hades. Makarov. No, Makarov never died.
He didn't.
No. Rita Dreyar. She was a side character with Mavis and stuff.
Yeah.
Irene Belsarion? Who? Urza Scarlet's estranged mother.
What?
Oh yeah, didn't Acnologia kill her?
Well, yeah, sure. Yeah. At this point, it's like Acnologia probably carried the death count for like the entire series. At this point.
Yeah, Grey's Master.
Oh yeah. Well, okay. These are like these are like off screen practically.
Yeah.
It's like
the dragons.
They just didn't have the
white and black dragons.
Yeah, no, they just didn't have the guts to really kill any major characters. Is what I'm really getting at.
Yeah, because I'm looking. The next one's Grey's father, the Demon Ice Slayer.
Yeah. Okay.
Zeref and Mavis's deaths.
Yeah, were greatly exaggerated because they came back easily as ghosts and then just influenced everything anyway.
I saw the next one's August, and I was like, "Who the heck is August? The son of Zeref and Mavis."
What? Okay.
And then there was Simon, okay, and then Igneal, and then Future Lucy.
What?
I remember Future Lucy died.
I don't even know what that's about. Is that for the movie or something?
No, that's where Future Lucy came back in time to like stop something and like, cause something else to happen. It was part of the thing where it was also where the future you know, the Shadow Dragon dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember the part
Sting
where he
or Cat? Wait, what was
the other one?
Name?
Not Sting. Not Sting. The other
not
one.
Sting. Okay. What was his name?
I don't remember his name.
Okay. Well, you're not sure.
But the dude with the frog cat.
Yeah. That guy.
Where there was a time where he came back from the future, where his future self had absorbed the light dragon's powers and taken over the powers and killed the other one.
Oh.
And came back in time and was trying to do something in the past that I don't remember what happened. Lucy, I think, came to stop him or whatever, and the future Lucy died.
Okay. Yeah, all right. All right.
Like, it's been years since I watched Fairy Tail.
That is the thing, though. I think there's probably not a single shonen series that is just like one singular line of story of just like unbroken narrative, because every single time they'll just like rush to a certain point and think, oh no, we got to do a filler now, and then everything just sort of diverges from there, and then you don't really know what's canon or not, and it's just but you know what, I actually think that Fairy Tail did kind of a good job with their side stories, because I think like
they were
Key of the Starry Heavens and stuff like that wasn't in the manga, but it was good. It was self-contained and it was good. So I feel like it also was a story that set itself up for side stories to be kind of easy to put into it.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, because it's just like, this is another guild adventure, so you don't really need a ton of setup. It's like, and at this time they went this place, and that's all you really need.
And that's what happened. And there you went to another dimension and fought your other dimension selves.
Yeah. Until they get into time travel, then it's like, okay.
Yeah. Going off of more anime and stuff. Anime that never got second seasons.
Oh.
I am a very big advocate of these ones because I'm my favorite anime is No Game No Life. And that's been part of the No Season 2 gang for way too long.
Yeah.
It's like the progenitor of No Second Season anime.
Honestly. It's unfortunate, but it's like at this point, would even anyone okay, people would be happy. But
oh yeah, no, there'd be a ton of people happy.
they'd be happy, and I have no doubt that they would have been listening still and actually wanting to see it still. But
well, a couple years ago, we got a movie.
Yeah, I heard there was a movie. I didn't watch it, but
it was all right. It didn't have anything to do with the main plot per se.
Well, that's why I didn't watch it. It's like I don't really. If you're not gonna go back to it, then go.
I would say I can give you a quick TLDR of the movie.
Go for it. Probably not.
Basically, no, that's fair. Basically, this is right before the before Tet took over and made the in a world of games.
Oh.
Where humanity sucks. They're terrible. Because they're weak and everything else can murder them with a flick of a finger.
Mm-hmm.
This dude is basically he gambles and basically was like helped humanity survive because he was trying his best and he became the leader of humanity. And he got a girlfriend who was an android. And these two characters look very strangely similar to our main characters.
Yeah, I think I've seen them. So they were trying to do some sort of like prequel kind of alternate
reincarnation.
Yeah.
And that's literally what it basically implies at the end of the movie is that they were reincarnated into those two, and then Tet found them and was like, "Hey, yo, it's them."
Well, that's context, but then it's like,
but where's the next season?
Where's the? Yeah. Oh well.
And like, there's so many good anime out nowadays, that would like really need a second season.
Yeah.
Like, I really liked My Dress Up Darling. I don't know if it's everyone's cup of tea, but I really liked it, and I want a second season for it, and I want to keep going.
See, I don't think I have not watched that one, but I don't know that I would be too opposed to it in general. I mean, just the idea of it seems like a slice of life type of thing.
Yeah. It's literally a slice of life anime where this girl wants to cosplay and this dude is a really good, clothes.
Yeah.
He worked on
Funny enough, another one where I read the manga first, or like a few chapters of the manga, and then suddenly years and years later, it's like this big phenomenon.
Bam,
and
anime.
It's like, what? I did not expect that one to catch on so much. I was really surprised.
But I am a massive sucker for like slice of life romance animes.
Yeah,
I love them. They're very sweet.
I will still always cite Toradora as being one of my favorite romance anime.
I've watched
for sure.
That's one of my most watched animes for number of times I've watched it.
But here's the real question: did you go then and watch Golden Time?
I did not then go and watch Golden Time, but a year or two later, I went and watched Golden Time.
Did you watch all of it?
I believe so. Let me double check real quick. But because I believe I'm thinking of the right anime, right?
It's by the same person.
Okay, yeah, I did watch the entire thing of this one. It was
like a ride, that's for sure.
Yeah. Oh my god, was that one a ride? My absolute favorite part of like the thing that got me into this anime. Let me see if I can find the clip real quick.
Honestly, as I'm thinking about it, could be anything. Because there were some wild moments of that. I still think one of my favorite characters is the rocker girl.
Yeah,
she was
that
awesome.
Scene is what that scene right there. This one right here is what got me like, yo, that show seems funny.
Wait, hold on. Let me see if I can make sure this is like muted and look at it.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to get the episode in trouble or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, you'll probably understand what it is when you see it real quick, but
Yeah, for sure. Again.
Granted, I didn't watch it in the dub version. This was just the first link that popped up. But...
Yeah. I'll see if I can recall for sure. But no, there's so much I remember. I still think that. All right, let me ask you a question. Did you like the character Tada Banri?
Tada Banri. Isn't he the main character, or is it? My brain is my okay. So the main character. Did I like him?
Yes.
I didn't have anything necessarily against him. But I mean, he was another like semi-generic self-insert character.
Yes. I would say that one of the issues that I kind of had with the show is that I kind of wish there was somebody more like Ryuji in there. Like if they were going to, obviously they didn't have to copy the same kinds of characters or anything like that. But it was just like, I wished this was happening to someone more interesting, because I would have liked to have seen how a different kind of character would have responded to some of the stuff. Because
the fact of what happened to him, I guess, makes it a little more difficult to be less bland.
Yes, and it's like, and I get that too, but I also kind of just wish that subplot wasn't even there, so that everything
that's
else
also fair. That's also
could have been fair. Like it could have been the same show without the subplot, is what I'm saying.
It definitely could have been. It could have been.
I just I appreciate the fact that it was a college show as well.
And and they're not children.
Yeah, they're not children for once.
Like they're adults.
Yeah, and so you could kind of understand some of the emotional manipulation that was going on. Was like framed very differently when it's adults that are inflicting that on each other, rather than just like kids who don't know better. It's like you know better and you're still doing this.
But yeah, I definitely
like that.
I definitely enjoyed Toradora more just because the characters were more likable.
Yeah, for sure.
The characters were more unique. I love Taiga. Taiga is freaking adorable.
Yeah. And she's probably a criminal, but like, but still, it's like
she's
could have been arrested.
Known as the queen of tsunderes. She's always the queen
for sure.
But she 100% could have been arrested for
absolutely
many things. Assault, vandalism.
It's definitely like it's a nice introduction into the series for like how different everybody is, but how well they mesh together, for sure.
Oh yeah. Oh my god. And like I loved how like the love between them grew. It was so sweet.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I have watched Toradora 4 times over.
I've watched it twice, I think.
I watched it twice by myself, once with my little sister, and once with my now ex.
Yeah, it's one of those shows where you can't just watch it once. You have to at least spread it to somebody else. You have to give it to someone, because it's like
such a feel-good show, and it makes me cry, and I'm just like, I love shows that can make me cry and feel things.
And another thing, obviously, that is great about the show is that the side characters were not left out.
The side characters all got their own stuff.
Yeah, the development of them was not just shirked for the idea of the main characters only being the ones that get attention. It's like they actually had consideration for everyone else on the side for once, and I love that. They all
had their own development, and it's beautiful. It's honestly like one of my top favorite anime.
Yeah, that one is pretty much solid. I will say there's another anime that I can think of whenever I think of a favorite. It's Moribito, Guardian of the Spirit. And I don't often run into people who have seen it, but it's just another
You saw nothing.
I saw nothing, yes.
No one saw anything.
Nobody saw that. Don't worry. It's a podcast. Nobody watches. Nobody
it could be edited out, which it probably won't be, but it can be edited.
No. I'm not editing that out. But you know, but yeah, with this show, I feel like, you know, that the feeling that Avatar kind of gives as a show of like the adventure and things. That is one of the ones that this show is like that, but in 13 episodes, I would say.
Okay.
Like it actually goes a lot of places. It uses the pacing of it well. And obviously it's not telling a similar kind of story, but it's just a really, really solid fantasy.
I'll have to take a look at it.
Yeah, excellent fight scenes and stuff like that. Everything is measured. There's romance. It's like it just goes so many places, and I love that show so much. And I'm not actually one to rewatch stuff unless it's really, really good. And so that's
same.
That's one that I believe I watched in Japanese twice, and then I watched the dub, and it was just as good each time. And so that one is another one that I had to share around too. And I feel like that one's a little bit more necessary to share around because nobody knows it half the time.
I was about to say I've never actually heard of it. So
yeah, it started out as a book actually.
Oh.
I've never read the book though, but yeah, that one is definitely one of my favorites. I also love Katana Gatari. That one's an excellent one too. And I think, well, it's almost in a similar vein of like,
oh my god, I keep gosh dang it, buttons. I keep these are all like on my D-pad, so I keep
those are great toggles, by the way. Just a quick run through for everybody in case they need
I got plenty more toggles.
But yeah, no, a similar adventure type one, but this time a little bit more like feudal Japanese style, but very fantasy oriented, very colorful, a lot of interesting character designs. Colorful. Yeah, I love that one for sure. It's like if Bleach was cool. It's like if Bleach was like really unique and okay. I'm just being mean now. Bleach is Bleach. It's fine. It's great. But the
characters here look very unique, though. They look very unique.
For sure. And usually people haven't seen that one, but usually a little bit more people than the other one that I suggested. So those are some of my favorites. I don't think I've really rewatched that one in a while, though. Who knows? Maybe it's due for that, but I just haven't been watching a lot of anime recently. That's that time thing again.
All that time stuff,
yeah.
I've been keeping up with some here or there, but I haven't really gotten into anything like new, like that's already done.
Yeah, not me either.
But yeah, like going off of some more series that I liked that I had to share around because obviously I got my little sister into anime during COVID. I showed her some of my favorites, and so she also really likes horror like I do.
Oh.
So I went and I showed her some spooky anime. The first one I put her through was Shiki.
Oh wow. I've heard of that one.
It's definitely an interesting one. And then the other one I put her through was Another.
Oh. The umbrella one.
Yeah.
Okay. That's literally all I know about that show is that scene. It's like, all right. God. That's
don't worry. There's plenty of other gruesome deaths. That's probably the most shown gruesome death.
Yeah.
I won't go into too much the depth of what the deaths are, but there's a couple are just being squashed, elevator, and
I also heard about the elevator scene,
and a boat. If you can think about how that one might go.
Yeah, nice boat.
That anime is not really that spooky, but more per se, it's more to watch the gruesome deaths.
Yeah.
If you want to see some gruesome deaths, that one's the one to watch.
just more horrifying than anything.
Yeah, another really good show that I've watched multiple times is Parasite.
Oh, I believe I've heard of that one as well.
Yeah, it's where like these parasites like take over people's bodies and brains, but our main character only had his hand taken over.
Oh yeah, no, I think I remember the design of that one as well.
Yeah, it's really well animated. It's also got gruesome deaths, but it's also got actually like some really good action and like some decent development for our main character.
Interesting. Yeah,
it was
I
overall
really. I think my foray into horror stuff wasn't really like, it kind of doesn't
that
really
hard.
even count because you can't really even call Hellsing horror, can you?
No,
it's just like
I call it gore. I call it gore.
Yeah, it's just like gory action. It's not really.
That's what Parasite is as well.
Yeah.
It's more gore than horror.
Yeah.
Dude, okay, so I've watched Hellsing Ultimate and Hellsing Ultimate Abridged. I love them both.
I haven't watched the abridged, but yeah, I've also watched Hellsing Ultimate.
It's a lot shorter than Hellsing Ultimate, obviously, because they take the episodes and make them shorter and abridged. But oh my gosh, okay, they take the stupid parts of Hellsing and just make them stupider and funnier.
Oh yeah, no, I know that there was definitely like a big wave of abridged stuff, and I still think it's quite funny that like the person that played, I think the person who played Alucard is a VTuber now.
Yeah, Takahata 101.
Takahata.
I enjoy his content. He does really good. He makes really good content. Yeah, and his Alucard voice acting was so good. It's so good. And I also recommend watching that. And
Did you know Little Karibo is also a VTuber now?
Little Karibo, I believe so. I think I've seen him on some Ataka stuff.
Yeah, it's very funny to me. Like, there's so many old creators that sort of ended up just like sliding right into
because I mean,
the VTuber community very easily.
Especially for like voice actors and stuff, it's a little easier because
for sure,
more of what they've done. It's literally what they've done.
I will say that's like, if we're to get into like the first question on this list,
the first question,
it's interesting though, because I've always sort of seen the idea of doing this. Like, I've obviously done other stuff before, but most of it never really had anything to do with my voice at all. Like, I would never have a mic at all. I would just do what I did and I'd put it up, and it was never really about me in particular. So I just wanted my work to really speak for itself. Especially as an artist, and just putting up artwork and not really trying to like influence people about it. Just like, here, I did something. And then but then later, around 2018 or so, I started uploading just like gameplay of Soul Calibur 6 because I was so obsessed. Like, I was just playing every single day. Like, and so I would be uploading twice a day for almost a year straight of just like hundreds of videos of Soul Calibur 6. Not a single one of them has my voice in it. Like, it was never about me. I just thought maybe somebody would want to see me play a game, or like a game being played. And then later it sort of occurred to me like, oh yeah, that's right.
Whoa,
people might want to, yeah, it's like people might want to actually hear me talk. Oh,
and you do have a really nice voice. You have a really nice voice.
Yeah, I've been told this for a number of years.
Yes,
and it's funny because I guess it never really sank in. Especially because growing up, I never really had like money to get nicer equipment for stuff like this.
Yeah.
So I always figured that I would just sound kind of bad if I got on mic. And I wanted to like skip that step in a sense, and so I think I never really started until I had like a baseline of getting some sort of mic that would sound decent enough to actually pick up my voice. So I think that's part of the delay in starting all this as well.
Yeah, no, that's entirely fair. That is entirely fair. For me, I my part of my thing was like for my voice at least, like I wish I had a deeper voice. I wish I had a smoother voice, but I've got that gremlin tone.
You know.
And yeah, I've never been like the biggest. I was gonna say I've never been necessarily the biggest fan of my voice. I still am not the biggest fan of my voice. I wish it was like even just like a little deeper. But it's like I do know like I've been told for many years that I have a very contagious laugh.
That is good.
It's that's probably the best thing I have for my voice, at least what I think.
That's great, honestly, and I would agree because it's very easy to have fun around somebody who actually laughs. You know?
Yeah, and I laugh at everything.
People call that like a. I don't really see people saying that that's a bad quality.
It's not necessarily a bad quality.
Yeah, like in any situation, because I feel like people are just laughing before they know it, and so you know, it's fun.
I like I said, I don't mind that. I do appreciate that I have like a contagious laughter and that kind of stuff. I just wish my voice was a little deeper.
I mean, you know, we're given what we're given. Like trust me, there's disadvantages to this.
I know, I get it.
A lot of disadvantages to this, actually. On the other side of it,
I would say there's also a lot of disadvantages to the high voice. Like I mentioned earlier, like I have to turn my mic down to like the lowest setting just so I don't peak my mic.
Yeah, and I would say that I feel like I've heard more about the disadvantages to having a voice like this, but I also have a personality like this. And so being sort of deadpan and not outwardly expressively emotional, it kind of can lead to some misunderstandings at times.
Yeah, I can understand that.
I'll admit there's been times where it's like I don't want to scare people, but I'll end up scaring
It comes
people.
off a little more intimidating.
Yeah. And so I think also when I say something, sometimes people won't understand that I'm joking or that I'm not being serious.
Yeah.
Because I have a serious sounding voice, but I'm a very silly person. Like I'm also, this is kind of an advantage. I think people tend to think that I'm smarter than I am as well. Like that's a really nice one. I'll take that one for free.
That is a nice one.
Yeah, because I'm
my gremlin voice makes me sound dumber.
I'm just glad that I had the foresight as a kid to very intentionally not pick up the Southern accent despite being here, because like I've always talked like this, and there's things here and there that I say that I know that are Southern sounding or like, just like as words, because I don't say y'all. I don't really do that.
I say y'all. I say y'all.
I made like a conscious effort when I was younger not to say y'all, and I'm very glad that it's paid off. But
no, I'm not even Southern and I say y'all.
It's interesting though, because like I've always felt like if I say y'all, or if I say certain other like Southern sounding terms, isms or whatever, then I'm going to be called it has like the connotation of being dumber. Yeah. And it's upsetting, but it's like when you hear a doctor like give a terminal sentence in a Southern accent, you're going to laugh a little. I'm sorry, but it's like that's somebody who studied for 8 years to be in their profession, and they're gonna have somebody cracking a smile because of their accent. I don't think it's not fair.
I don't think that's necessarily like the worst thing, depending on like obviously what they're saying.
Well, yeah, of course, and like it kind of can help with bedside manner in some cases as well, because I will admit,
break the news.
Like if there's like a really Southern sounding dentist, I'm at ease a little bit more. But when it's somebody who sounds really serious, or like in my case, me, then it's like, open your mouth, here comes the drill. It's going to sound threatening. So I don't know. Like,
yeah, no, that's entirely fair.
Yeah. I'm just glad like the palling around silly podcast stuff is probably what I'm more meant for than like if I were to have to do the news or something or like anything like that.
Don't want to do the news?
Come on. Well, the things that people would suggest when they hear my voice is like, you should have a radio show. Or, you know.
I mean, I feel like you could honestly do some like decent ASMR.
Yeah, that too, which I have no interest in, but I'll always hear that as well. And I think that can potentially be not a danger, but like maybe a misunderstanding that people might have, because if I had like the storytelling capability to like come up with stuff for that, then maybe. But
I mean, you could even just do like reading streams too.
I am interested in that, and I also think that no matter what I'm doing, people will probably kind of get the same thing out of it, right? Like if I'm just, you know, narrating over a game or what I'm doing in a game, then I don't really have to like sit there and be intentional about doing ASMR because they're just hearing my voice already. So
yeah.
I guess I can be lazy about it in that sense. Like that's kind of fun.
And we take those.
Yeah. But yeah,
it's like
it's my only advantage, though.
Yeah.
I think.
I mean, I think the smoother sounding voices are also like more, like while it's also sometimes more intimidating, it's also sometimes more inviting.
Yeah,
especially with how, especially with like how you're going about it,
mm-hmm.
and it's like because like for if you hear something like my voice, you're gonna expect a lot more like high energy, more rambunctious kind of thing, like where I will start rambling off on like random tangents, and I don't know where I'll go.
Mm-hmm.
But which isn't obviously something everyone wants, because some people like want like the smoother, the calmer voice, because you have a really nice, smooth, deep voice, and that's really soothing. And a lot of the times that I can listen to streams, it tends to be at nighttime when I'm going to bed, because I always like to listen to something when I'm going to bed, and I always like to have those there's like a couple things here and there that I always like to go through and listen to. Like, great, I used to like on my 3DS, I used to watch YouTube and listen to Markiplier playing things like Amnesia while I fell asleep.
Yeah,
which, you know,
I could say that.
Obviously isn't the best, but Markiplier has a really nice deep voice.
He does, but then he screams really, sometimes,
and it's like,
and
it's like the thing is, I was a pretty deep sleeper around that time, so I never really woke up. But his deeper voice like helped me sleep.
Yeah, and I could definitely say that.
And so it's the same kind of thing. Like, some of the people I listen to now, like to fall asleep. One of them is a speedrunner. His name is Small Ant.
I've heard of him.
Yeah, he plays things like Mario. His voice isn't like insanely deep, but it's got like that nice, like it's definitely like a slightly lower tone voice.
Yeah,
and it sounds really smooth, and so it helps me sleep. So I'll listen to his VODs as I go to bed.
Mm-hmm. There's definitely times where it's like I will want to watch somebody high energy because I'm at work, and I would rather just like focus on that than what I'm doing necessarily. But then there are times when I'm at work and I don't really want to be like stressed out or anything. So I'll just switch to somebody. Like, there was actually a recent debut in Niji Sanji of somebody that I was not familiar with them before or anything like that, but of Claude Clawmark of like a few days ago, where I've already found myself just putting his VODs and stuff on at work because he was playing like Neon White. I really want to play Neon White.
Oh, Neon White was it's cool.
So
I didn't play it, but I watched my friend play it and listened to the story
on
Discord.
Like,
I think that was around the time when I injured my arms.
Oh, well, I will definitely recommend, if you ever want to watch somebody playing through Neon White again, it's so cool watching him play, but he has a voice that is kind of like in the range of mine in his speaking voice, but then he's like actually good at games, unlike me. So
I mean, it takes some practice. It just takes some practice.
Oh, but like speed running games and stuff like that, I would die. Like
Oh yeah.
I'm also kind of like motion sick sometimes
Oh,
with
that's fair. That
first
is entirely
person.
fair.
So it's like
Yes, that is entirely fair.
I would love to play Neon White, but I think it's a game that I just have to content myself with watching people play because I don't think I can do all of that stuff. But you know, when there's somebody that actually like has the speedrunner mindset, it's really good.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons why I liked watching Small. I like so I like he was a Mario Odyssey speedrunner when I started watching it. And Mario I was a big Nintendo kid, so I liked Mario Odyssey. And the amount of things that was like that I got to see him do were really cool. He's switched off of Mario Odyssey for like speedrunning. He's gone now more towards Minecraft speedrunning. And he's become more of a Minecraft streamer now. For like in a Pokemon streamer.
Well, Minecraft is like the ultimate ASMR game.
Yeah, but not. But yeah, so it's definitely something interesting that I've caught along with. Interestingly enough, though, you were talking about like Niji Sanji people and stuff. I find it interesting. Like I'll watch. So I actually have never watched a full VOD of any corporate VTuber.
Interesting.
Like, I like a bunch of I like a bunch of HoloLive stuff. I like a bunch of VShojo stuff. I've never really gotten into Niji Sanji that much.
Yeah.
But like I'll watch clips of theirs. I'll listen to songs. Like Mori Calliope is one of my favorite singers right now.
For sure.
She's really good. She was also part of my inspiration for my current character. The more Reaper aspect of it. But yeah, so I've never actually gone through and like watched a full VOD of any corporate VTuber.
So mostly clips then.
Yeah, it's all been clips or highlight videos.
I can see that.
Never been a full VOD.
Yeah, there's definitely been a lot of those cases. I don't think I've really done it specifically for a lot of the like HoloLive EN. I've mostly done Tempest. Like once the like once the guys came around, I really you know, it obviously people's genders don't matter in any of the cases. It's just like there wasn't
more
somebody
kind of attuned to.
Yeah, there wasn't somebody who I resonated with because I think believe it or not, a lot of the streamers that I watch are like a whole lot more high energy and like
I
crazy.
Can totally believe
it. Because it's like it's the opposite of me. So
yeah, it's the energy you don't exhibit yourself, and so you're like you get it for somewhere.
Yeah, essentially. And I think honestly, if I were to categorize most of the ones that I watch more regularly, they all have ADHD. Every single one of them. Like it's almost like a requirement, like an entry level requirement of some of my favorites. I don't know what it is, but I don't know. I've just ended up gravitating towards that sort of a stream, and I think it's because it's also something that I would struggle so hard to even try to do, and so maybe it's I can't see myself doing that. So I would rather see somebody else kind of like wander to doing what they want and putting on what they want and thinking about everything. Like I didn't really see somebody super like that until Tempest, especially with Battle is one of my favorites. That man seems crazy, like completely off, but serious enough at times. So it's like definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah. See, I resonate really well with like the cute stuff. I love cute stuff. Like so in HoloLive, I started out seeing clips of Korone and Pekora.
Well, of course. Yeah.
Because they're like the big two over like that started over there that kicked off in like EN, you know, Pekora war crimes, Korone being Corona. Yeah.
Just both of them still pretty much on top of like the
oh yeah
yeah, like they're all still doing all that.
And then like when Holo En came out, I honestly like when I looked at them all at the beginning, I didn't really particularly. The only one I particularly liked was Gura.
Mm-hmm.
Gura, because obviously Gura was, adorable and she's stupid and it's great.
Yeah.
She's adorable, stupid, it's fantastic. But over time, like if I have to say, I still love Gura. Gura's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But like Mori Calliope really grew on me.
Yeah, same here.
I have a little bit of a stigma against rap music, particularly because because hot take from this bun right here. I don't think many American musical artists right now and nowadays are very good. Like the ones that are topping the charts, I don't like them very much.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm not a big
I wouldn't
fan
be
of
able to
Drake.
dispute it because I just don't listen to them on purpose,
Exactly.
honestly.
Neither do I. Well, I listen to them like when I'm at work with my coworkers and stuff because they'll play it and stuff. I'm just like, this is mid.
I think
like
TikTok
Drake,
ruined music.
Lil Yachty,
Anyway, here.
And, TikTok has also definitely ruined music.
Yes.
It is ruined music.
2-minute songs that are too long, apparently, for TikTok. So it's like, it definitely signifies the existence of the shrinking attention span. And
it only enlarged the shrinking attention span.
Yeah. And so that's not even just TikTok itself. It's just the fact that there are people trying to manifest their music as, oh, I want to make this into a TikTok hit. And it's like,
yeah,
it's
it's brutal. Like for the longest time, I actually didn't have a TikTok. Like I literally made mine like a week or two ago.
Yeah.
Specifically because I do want to like increase my reach and that kind of stuff. And the TikTok's probably one of the better ways to do it now.
I'm afraid.
Yeah, same. And so I did want to make a little more content here and there.
Like, just keeping it 100,000%. I am going to be 30 years old next year. I feel like I'm way too old for this stuff. I feel like I need somebody to guide my old graying hand towards this new platform of just like what do I even put there? I don't even know. I want to download just all of my clips and just throw them up on there. Don't do any editing. Don't do anything, and just see what happens.
Yeah. So that's literally part of what I'm doing right now.
Yeah. Like I'll just dump clips there.
So the thing is, you don't even have to download your clips to put them over there.
Really?
There's literally if you go to the export section on clips, you can export it straight to TikTok.
Oh. Well, let me just do this right after this. It's like, I don't care for it. So I would rather just dump it there and see what happens. Because you
can use the automatic editing tool on Twitch. There's where you can just, you can literally just scroll over your model and you can scroll over the game with 2 boxes and it'll automatically put them there. You can attach stuff there, and that's how that works. And you can just export it directly to TikTok.
Well, cool. I don't really feel like I need to put fancy text boxes over it. So
no, well, no, it's not even text box. It's like you don't have any of that. It's the editing for it. Literally, for YouTube, it allows you to put your Twitch handle on there, but for TikTok, it will not let that be there.
Oh,
because it's against TikTok's policies or whatever.
Oh, who cares? But I'll follow it.
Super easy. It's super easy.
Yeah, I think I'll probably look into that because.
And then I'll occasionally edit a video here or there specifically just to post there.
Mm.
Like I have 2 videos on there that were currently made to be posted on there. Like one was my VTuber self-introduction video type thing. That I also posted on YouTube and stuff. And then the other one was just like a quick hey, you're doing great type video.
I will say I've probably been pretty cavalier overall about the idea of growth and retaining an audience and things like that, because of the fact that I feel as though I never really even would have hit affiliate or anything without the existence of people knowing me through Bunopolis and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's also a big helper on that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think I've always sort of had this idea that if even one person looks at something that I did or the one person that is like the target audience for what I did, as long as they like it, I'm good. And so when I think of it appealing to more than one person, my brain is already like off. So I've never really found myself wanting any of that, even though I should, you know. But it's just like different people having different perspectives on that for sure. Like I would love to reach a larger audience purely for the fact that I feel like it would be more fun in the chat if I just
like when more people are talking.
Yeah,
that's exactly how I feel. I love talking to people in the chat, and I just kind of wish there was a little more sometimes.
Yeah, it's like I want for that to happen, but do I want for it to happen enough to do everything that it takes for that to happen? I don't know.
Not necessarily.
I kind of value my time and sanity a bit more than that.
I was about to say because that's the other thing is it takes time to help push your reach and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I have a friend who currently sleeps 4 hours a day on a good day.
Yeah.
But she's popping off and she's posting videos like multiple times a week for like just like not like super long videos but like short videos for here and there.
Yeah.
But she's sacrificing her sleep and stuff for it.
Yeah. I just sacrifice my sleep for nothing because I just don't like being
but you don't sleep less than 4 hours a night, right?
Anyway, next question. Yeah, I don't know. It just honestly depends. It's like I don't go usually less than 4 hours, but 4 hours is pretty normal for me, honestly.
Yeah.
Probably not healthy, but I don't know. Is any of this healthy?
Who knows? Who knows?
I don't know. If your entire life is revolve around sleep, you're just gonna miss everything. You're not gonna be able to see these things, and you're not gonna have time. You know?
Oh my gosh! Yeah, no. Like, because if I'm gonna be honest, 90% of my audience comes from like 3 of my friends that I've watched on that like 3 of my streamer friends.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have like from people who actually have like talked in my chat and that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is what I'm entirely basing it off of. Is I have maybe 1 or 2 people who found my channel first that before like any of my other friends and like stuck around. I don't have a lot of people who have like found me off of like a recommended feed or off of my TikToks and like we're just like, oh yeah, I like you and I'm gonna stick around. It's been viewers from a couple of my friends who I've done collabs with that they like some of their viewers were like, oh hey, they're pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then they've kind of stuck around a little bit, which I appreciate every single one of them. I really, really do. But it's like I don't really have people who found me first.
Yeah. It's been interesting with that for me because there's been some people who have, but there's also been, like, I would say probably mostly now it's people from Bunopolis, but there's a handful of people who were like all the way back from when all I did was art.
Oh.
And then I recently got a real interesting one of like somebody who commented on a recent VOD of they were asking about a song that I did 12 years ago.
Holy crap.
Of like a remix that I had posted on my channel of like a Jazz Jackrabbit thing. And
that's long.
It's like, ooh, that I was like 18 when I made that. And that's interesting. I didn't think that was still getting views and stuff or anything.
I wonder if they saw your channel and then they like saw your video, looked back and saw the video, or like.
Well, they were saying that they saw the music from some other thing and they were trying to ask if they could feature it in some sort of like club thing, and it was interesting. I don't even know. That's
kind of cool.
It's interesting because like I don't even really do music anymore. Like that was something that I did in middle school mostly.
See, I want to get back into music.
I would love to as well.
So I've loved music. I've played music. I was a percussionist in middle school and high school and all that kind of stuff.
Drummer.
And my senior project was for high school was I made some songs.
Cool.
They're hot garbage. They are hot garbage, and no one here will ever find them.
Right.
Because they are on a personal channel, and the video, you can't see them without the link, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's unlisted.
So no one will ever find them.
Mm-hmm.
But I've wanted to get back into music. I have FL Studios. I just need the time to actually go about and make it. I've honestly been working on some lyrics for a song recently, but I haven't gotten anything set in stone.
Cool.
So like I said, because I have been wanting to get back into music. One thing going with the music, this also kind of helps segue it. The first video you'll find on my current YouTube channel for me is a cover for Villain Vibes by Maury Calliope and Amelie.
Nice.
It's so bad though. It is so bad. I didn't have enough time to practice the lyrics. I didn't have enough time to get any editing done on the lyrics.
So it's more like a karaoke that you just sort of put up.
Yeah, and the problem was I also just did terrible. My voice, I had been attempting to practice too much, and my voice is a little cracky. So and it's Villain Vibes is also, at least the bass version is not for me for vocal wise.
Yeah.
Because you know how there's songs where people's vocals work better with them or they work worse with them, and they're just not. The Villain Vibes is not a vocal song for me. I can't do the vocals with the bass version of Villain Vibes. I've debated pulling the video off of I've debated on making it link only for the video because it cringes me so hard. Because the reason for the cover was actually for a contest. That they were holding, and that's actually one of the things that kind of actually tipped me, pushed me off the cliff into VTubing. Because
that is an interesting story. Because I wouldn't have thought there would be a specific event like that would.
Yeah. So I was interested in VTubing. I had a year prior to that, I had commissioned an artist for my design.
Yeah.
To help design my character. But I never really went full in on it until this contest had happened. Because this contest is also what gave birth to the Reaper side of me.
Right.
Because obviously I'm not super villainous and stuff, right? I'm chaotic, but I am very hyper, very popular, very not popular. I am very peppy, very hyper. The villain vibe songs was more villain vibes, and so I had commissioned this piece of mine from the same artist who designed me, with me in. I can actually pull up the art here in a second.
Yeah, I'd like to see it.
Yeah, because I commissioned this art for the background of the video, for the villain vibes thing.
Yeah.
There. And this is also what gave birth to my scythe. This is why I have this artist is in this contest is why I have my scythe.
Cool. I like it.
Yeah, it was a really good piece, and I really loved it. He worked with me in a couple 2 weeks span time to get this done.
It looks great though.
Yeah. Granted, it doesn't have my that's which one? It's this one. It doesn't have the Reaper outfit that I designed because I actually a couple months ago designed this outfit myself. But this is this is where he designed my scythe. And because I told him I could do with a basic scythe. I gave him references, I gave him Soul from Soul Eater. I gave
Soul Eater is fantastic. Go on.
Soul Eater was fantastic. I gave him Maury Calliope scythe. I told him it doesn't have to be complicated. It can just be a basic scythe. And then he went ham.
Yeah.
As you might be able to tell. He
just
went
give
a
me
little
something
ham.
easy and able to be replicated, just Give me something.
And well, I didn't even ask for like easy to replicate because it didn't initially intend for it to be like a part of me now. Like I didn't intend to be a Reaper when I designed it.
Yeah.
But I went for villain vibes because I like Sais. Sais are one of my favorite types of weapons. Ruby Rose wields a fantastic weapon. Like I said, I love Soul. I love Scythes. Scythes are my favorite weapon. And so I was like, this is a good opportunity to get a scythe, and like that'd be cool and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was, since Mori Calliope was a Reaper, I was like, with the villain vibes and she like with in the contest, I was like, this is a perfect opportunity. So I got it. So I was like, yeah, just make me a scythe, and it doesn't have to be too complicated. I was literally like, it does not have to be too complicated. Just be a basic scythe. And his message back to me when he came back with the draft was like, so I started drawing, and then I kept going.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy crap, that looks so good.
As a designer, I've definitely been there. Because it's like sometimes you're just like, but what if I added this? Oh, but what if I also added this? And then
so it
like
turned
hours
into this,
later.
So it turned into this massive, very complex bone scythe that he made me.
It's really cool.
I love. I love it. I love it. Because I've got my model mama made me a little version for my model.
Nice.
Which it's a little off color, but that's not the end of the world. That's not the end of the world.
So you should definitely play Soul Calibur 6 then. Because if you like all of this, then you would definitely like making yourself.
This, you definitely.
You would definitely like making yourself in there and playing as the Solidal.
I will say though that it is. I attempted to, like when I was attempting to draw my outfit, I attempted to draw the scythe with a pose. And dear Lord, perspective, please.
Yeah, that one is a hard one. Always.
I do not call myself an artist. I am a doodler.
Yeah, I used to call myself that too, and then I learned a lot more, and now I'm an artist.
Because this sketch here took me 10 hours to do.
Oh, I'm also not super fast with it either, honestly.
Yeah, no, like this, but the sketch I just said, it took me literally 10 hours just to make that, and I'm just like, it's not even done.
Yeah,
I just gave up, and I was like, this is good enough for a reference.
It is good though.
Oh, it took so. I literally just traced the scythe. I couldn't draw it.
I still remember when I was in middle school and elementary school, I always used to think that when I would doodle and stuff, that eventually I would give it to like a better artist so they could recreate it better.
Mm-hmm. You just never did.
Well, I never did because I became that artist myself.
Yeah.
So it's like I handed it to my future self, and it's like, oh, I know what to do with this now.
You're like, I can do it better now.
Yeah. I'd still like to go through all of some of those like ideas that I thought were good that I put down when I was really young, and just see if I could redraw them. That would be fun. But that does sound like a lot of fun. Yeah, it's definitely if I had more time again and more of desire to draw again. Like that is the other interesting bit about VTubing, and that I think is really fun, is that you'll get people who are just incredibly multi-talented at things, and they get an opportunity to showcase that to people.
Oh yeah.
Like I would never have known that Callie was an artist. I never would have known that. Like literally like digital artist. I wouldn't have known that she could draw. Because I would only have really known her as like a musical artist or anything like that. But she got a chance to do that. Yeah.
And I know I think she drew all of the visuals for Nezumi Scheme that was like semi-recent.
Yeah,
like I saw some clips and stuff on Twitter about that.
Yeah, and she did like hours and hours and hours of work for that, and continues to overwork herself. It's insane. That I don't know how she is it's possible to do that as a person, but like you get. That's the thing. If you have to maintain all of the talents equally, then that's what ends up happening. You just have to burn yourself at both ends. And I mean,
I guess it also helps partially that is also her like full-time job.
Yeah, of course, for sure. Like
she has the 8 hours a day that we normally spend doing, trying to live, to also put towards her work.
Yeah, for sure.
Towards all that stuff, which definitely is a lot of time.
But the thing is, I think even if I were to have that, I don't know that I would have the work ethic to specifically do all that. And so that is one of those things where it's special, where you get people who work really, really hard at what they're doing, and they get to actually live off of that. And that's one of those nice things to see. Even if I don't sit and watch like every HoloLive or Niji Sanji or everyone in VShojo or anything like that.
Something they love.
They're able to do all that stuff because of the support of some of these, corporations. You can like poo-poo their decisions or whatever, but they know how to pick them. That's for sure.
They do. They do.
And they keep picking them, and maybe sometimes they'll lose them here and there, but
it's like corporate decisions and all that kind of stuff. And then when corporate loses them, VShojo is like,
free. Well, not free. I mean, still contracts, but they're more the content creators themselves are more free to do stuff. That sounds super nice for sure. But obviously that is a very separate pipeline from indie VTubers and in general. And I definitely respect that as well, because frankly, that's how I ended up getting into VTubing, was some of the earlier members of VShojo and some of the ones that I still watch the most. So, I still have like this affinity towards VTubing because of all of the things that just watching people that are able to do all of this stuff and have fun with it and put out fun streams, and it's just like it's fun. It's fun.
It is a lot of fun. I guess another thing that like pushed me towards VTubing more than like flesh tubing was the fact that I don't particularly I find myself to be dreadfully average. And so I was never like a big fan of like doing face streams or any of that kind of stuff. And so
I never did one.
I would say, because I technically streamed before doing VTubing and doing this perspective here. Because if someone's really desperate, they can probably find like the hidden streams and stuff based off of like my early streams. But I doubt anyone's gonna have the time or wishing the effort to go search. Because I used to like I said, I used to play on a college team. I streamed the games that we played on the college team. For multiple reasons. One, it's so that we had like records of our comms and like records of the games. So that we could so we could go and like analyze our games, analyze our comms, and like just try and get better as a team. And so I streamed my games there. I also started streaming like I think like Mario 64 at that time, but I played like 2 levels and then didn't.
Well, I don't think that really counts.
No.
I actually no. I think there was a single, like maybe several minutes of a stream where I put on it wasn't even a webcam. It was like a GoPro that I pointed out at myself, because I was trying to just see if it worked, and it kind of didn't. So I just turned it off. And I think that was like several years ago. But even before then, I would stream on Picarto and just do art. And I think a lot earlier on into being a VTuber, I wanted to do more art stuff, and I still want to do more stuff like that, but I feel like I want to reserve it for like hanging out in a group and doing art, or just like trying to finish specific things, but not really having that be like my main thing, because I'll be real here, I don't talk much when I do art. And so I just need for something else. That's not always
the worst thing.
Yeah,
I know like some friends and stuff where we talk about like watching art streams, and we're like we like watching art streams because they're chill, they're relaxing, and you kind of get to see the person draw. So it's not always the worst that you don't necessarily talk during art streams.
Yeah, but I'm talking like I legit mute the mic. Like I literally don't like I just leave it muted. Like there's still some of the VODs and stuff that are on my YouTube now where it was just a muted art stream of me playing music, like playing a playlist and just drawing and just typing in the chat.
That's not the worst thing.
Like it's a vibe, I guess. Like it's just me, letting my playlist run and doing that.
Yeah.
And I felt like it was best for focusing at the time. But I think I feel like there's not much point if people aren't hearing my voice even just occasionally or something.
I mean, it's not. I guess it's more. It's how do I put this? It's not necessarily about like just like listening to you sometimes with the streams.
Yeah.
Sometimes the streams are there for obviously just kind of watching you do your thing and like watching your drawings. It's not necessarily about you they want to listen to. It's also about the art they want to see you draw.
Yeah, but
so going and seeing you at the drawing kind of thing is always kind of nice too.
Yeah, I mean, I get the concept of it for sure. I just think that I don't know. I think I would just have more fun when, honestly, there's just somebody else there to bounce off of with the art thing. Because I think, well, I've done like a very few of these before, but the study hall idea is fun. Just hanging out in the VC, doing random stuff. Everybody else is doing their work. I'm doing mine. I like the idea of that probably more, even if maybe less work might get done.
I understand that. Yeah, and that's always one thing that I like to think is like, for at least streaming for me, is just like do what you want, do what makes you have fun. And that's if you don't like having fun doing it, then don't do it. It's always like that.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna I'm trying to think here because I really wish almost that we could just do like a part 2.
We can do a part 2. I'm fine with that.
I'm not personally getting tired, but I think maybe I'm starting to feel either hungry or restless.
Yeah, we can always say it is like 12:30 a.m. We can always do a part 2.
Yeah. So I think maybe the next time we try and hit some more of the questions.
Hit some more of the questions.
I mean, it was never necessary to do that. I just find it so funny that most of the time when we end up doing these episodes, we'll hit like a majority of the areas of the questions anyway, which is what I think we did. But I think there's just like sections of things that we didn't really get to, like TV and baking and cooking and IRL activities or whatever.
Yeah, we mostly hit like the video portion of it, like video games, video like stream. We hit some decent streams. We didn't obviously hit all the streaming questions.
Yeah, of course.
Because I obviously I kind of segued into some of the questions here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Like what inspired, like what got me into VTubing, that kind of stuff. Like I kind of segued into that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm glad that we got to that eventually.
The first question just never hit.
It was roundabout, but we got there. Like
it took 3 hours. It took 3 hours to hit the first.
We finally got to question 1. But hey, like as soon as I recognized that your username was you. Like I thought, oh yeah, this is gonna be easy. this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be a lot of fun, and it's gonna be easy. So I will ask you one last question. Do you have some good news you can share?
Pertaining
anything.
Pertaining to anything specific?
Well, about yourself,
I mean, I don't really have anything happening right now, I guess. But I mean, just like I have a couple. I actually I have. I do. It's not like necessarily like insanely good news, but I have. So you know how I have my little hoodie on right here?
Yeah.
I actually have an IRL version of it coming in soon.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah. I'm excited because I also bought a carrot plushie.
Mm-hmm.
It's so I could just like cosplay as myself, which is
Nice.
really fun.
That's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Second to last question.
Yes.
Why did you choose a bunny?
Why did I choose a bunny?
Unless it's a long story, then we can save it for next time.
No, this is a very simple story. So
Okay.
1, a bunny is one of my favorite animals. And
Fair enough.
2, I was born on Year of the Rabbit.
Oh. Okay.
Simple enough answers right there.
Well, I'm glad we didn't save it for next time because that was over quick.
Yeah, that's a very simple question.
You know what? Fair enough. Simple, straightforward. I like it. Let's see. The third to last question. Do you have any questions for me?
I'm bad at asking questions.
Okay.
I ask them as they come.
Hey, the answer of that can be no, and we can be out of here if you want.
All right. That's fine by me then.
Okay. Well, I'll give you some time until part 2 to ask any sort of questions that you'd like. But honestly,
I know I've been asking questions as I go. So.
Well, yeah, for sure. But it's just kind of a part of it anyway. Like, yeah. Honestly, I kind of reserved that question for like if somebody didn't ask any questions. But honestly, that one was more like tongue in cheek because we've just been talking the whole time anyway.
Honestly, not gonna lie, I wasn't sure when you started recording.
Okay, I'll be real here. There are times when I do that because it's like I want the start of it to feel organic, but I don't want to like sneak and do it either. Yeah. So it's you kind of have to like find a balance of where most of the time when I start it, I'll go like, so, and then I'll start it and then I'll ask a question.
Because I know we were talking, and then we were talking about stuff, and I'm like, this might need to be recorded. And then you mentioned something about, what was it? I don't remember exactly what you mentioned now at this point, because my brain's...
Oh, it was probably when I asked what kind of games do you play.
Yeah.
It was just like, and then I did that like verbatim, thinking like, is he going to know that I started? And then I was like, you know what? No, I'm not going to say anything.
I was like, when after you started asking that question, I'm like, okay, we probably started recording already.
It's like, we probably started, yeah. Well, I'm glad you picked up on that because it's good. I'm glad we had a lot of fun today.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and we'll definitely have to look towards part 2. We've been going for 3.5 hours or so.
Yeah. Obviously.
The question is, will this hit the new record?
I mean, we could filibuster for another hour and a half, but it would be like 2 a.m. So
no. Like we said, part two in the future. Woo!
And maybe that might be into like because I felt like we only really even scratched the surface of the anime stuff.
Yeah.
Even still.
Yeah, like I said, I talked about League for almost an hour.
Yeah, and so we really honestly only scratched the surface of games too. But I would love to have you on for another one.
Definitely.
I don't know who I'm gonna be able to get next and stuff. But
I'm gonna try and force Sprinkles to do it. I don't know if it'll happen, but I'll try and force her to do
Well, that would be a lot of fun, honestly.
I was saying because I talk to her like literally every day, so I could probably get her to.
Well, I mean, literally. Here's the other thing, though. Now you've got like collateral because you did an episode. You can be like, here, this episode is really good.
Oh no! I literally was like, I was talking to her earlier. I'm like, I don't even know if I didn't realize you didn't know it was me. So I was like, I don't know if Voleno's told anyone we're doing an episode today. The only person I've told we're doing this episode is you now, Sprinkles. So I'm just like,
yeah, no, I didn't know we were doing an episode today. Like, I had no idea. Like, it's actually baffling that I was stumbling.
It's so funny.
I was just talking to you like I didn't know you too. I was like, you know what I was close to saying when you kept telling me like, oh no, it's up to you. I was about to say like,
You're like, I don't know you. Just pick.
Like, could you please just like, can we stop with the ping pong formality?
I'm
I actually pick a time. Pick the preference now.
Dude, I'm so indecisive though. I'm so indecisive. Because I knew this was like your podcast thing, interview. I didn't. It's like I haven't really had time to go through and properly watch all of them. So
they're pretty long. I understand, and not everybody really does a bunch of stuff with all this. And so this is actually what I was thinking when I thought you weren't you. Was I thought you might not have seen any of the episodes or seen the formatting or anything. So when you were asking those questions, I thought
I just didn't know I didn't because I know you had done one I know Ruby's had done Ruby's live. I didn't know what you had specifically wanted to do because I haven't been able to watch the episodes properly. As I knew the basic you had us on the bar and stuff. I just need to be which direction do I look? Because
it might have it should have probably tipped you off that I didn't know that it was you because I kept asking whether you were 2D or 3D or stuff.
Yeah, I I didn't know if you so the place my brain went to when you asked that was I wasn't sure if you wanted a PNG, if you wanted just a PNG on the screen or a model on the screen.
I just I didn't know because I didn't know it was you. I didn't know if you had a model or not, or had a 3D model or something.
The reason why it didn't tip me off is because I'm stupid.
Well, I told you a lot of the things about the presentation of me as a person makes me seem a lot smarter than I am. But I am not. I am not that smart. I'm really not.
Because my thing is because I said it was your show and your kind of thing, and so I wasn't sure if you wanted to stream it or if you just wanted to record it, or because I didn't plan on streaming it. I didn't plan on streaming my end because that's why I planned it on one of the days I don't normally stream.
Yeah, no, I just normally leave it up to the person, and it's not even an indecisiveness thing. I know that people are generally kind of specific about their schedules and what they want to do.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, like I said, when I make plans, that means I'm usually open for then, and like I said, I just I'm down for usually whatever as long as we as long as we have that start time that we talked about. And as long as I have the general time, I'm good.
And I think we're definitely starting to wind down on some of the single interviews and stuff. I still need to DM a bunch of people about everybody who said yes on the form and stuff for it. Some of them are people that I'm not really recognizing as much. Yeah. And so there would be the actual talking to a stranger kind of thing. But
that's where the questions I guess become a little more on script
for sure. And I think it's interesting though, because some of the time, I mean, this is technically our first time talking one-on-one.
Oh yeah.
But I wasn't nervous about that anymore because it's it's Ronen.
This is the psychopath who's killed me and who's ducked many times.
This is the person who I've turned and stabbed in the face for no reason other than thinking they'll probably get a kick out of this.
Yeah, and he's always evil. He's always evil.
Yep. Always evil when you had only been evil once.
The fact that that's stuck with me for the past 3 or 4 Goose Ducks now.
Oh yeah.
The worst part was you weren't here for the last one. You weren't here for the last one.
Did that still hold true? Of people thinking you were only evil?
Yeah, it doesn't help.
Oh no.
So we played the new trick or treat game mode, which is basically hide and seek.
Mm-hmm.
Where hide and seek zombie infection type game mode, where if you get caught, you become a seeker.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got killer 3 times in a row.
Oh no.
And so whenever one of them would spawn with me, they're like, "I'm dead now, aren't I?" And I'm like, "Yup.
Yup.
Yup. I'm sorry, but yup."
That almost just seems like an oversight for a smaller amount of people.
Yeah, because we only had about 5 people, which was the minimum you needed to play.
Yeah.
Because everyone kind of canceled last minute, or like within the last like 2
Yeah,
days.
that was unfortunate. I wasn't even able to go.
Yeah, it was so spaced out that none of us realized that so many people canceled.
Oh, yeah.
Is because what happened with Suki, and then just like some people were getting sick,
Mhm.
and it's just like, oh no. Oh no.
Oh no, we're gonna have to go on with 5 people. Oh no.
Yeah, well, because we didn't even actually have 5 Bunopolis members. We had one of Lofa's mods. We had one of my mods.
Yeah, you just had. You know what though? I do hope that the end of the month is less crazy next time, because like
yeah,
I really love doing those. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun. I can actually check which day I like. It's probably either gonna be like it's either gonna probably like, since Thanksgiving is that Thursday, I might do like either the 17th or the 25th for the Saturday the 25th.
Oh yeah,
that's what I'm thinking, but I have to actually like look.
The 17th might be better in this case,
that's what I was
honestly,
thinking.
because
that's what I was thinking.
If it's a week before, I think it'll give more people more time, because usually people don't like fly out a week ahead for Thanksgiving. Like that's psychotic behavior. Frankly, you're not going to take a week to cook. Come on. Like, and if you are, then I don't know how many people you're trying to feed, but you know, the 25th might be a tougher ask, because some people probably celebrate on the Saturday just because they can't get off of work, or they go over to people's houses and just kind of stay over the weekend, etc. That sort of thing. So yeah, maybe the 17th or like the 1st of December. I don't know.
That's the other option, was the 1st of December, most likely, because I'm just like, it's kind of the same month still.
It's the same week, you know. It's same time frame, kind of. But yeah, I'll see what I can do for joining the next one. I don't really have anything probably going on for the next few. Other than Christmas.
I'm hoping Suki can join this time, because she's missed out on like the last 2 times for her like reasons she can't really avoid, and I'm just like, oh no, Suki.
Well, hopefully that's able to be completed and stuff. I wanted to have another one for sure.
Oh yeah, like I said, I'll be holding them monthly. They'll happen.
Yeah. I think we did it.
Yeah, we did it.
I think it's over.
It is over. I should probably head to bed soon.
Yeah.
Got work in the morning.
Same here.